playing, especially when they play it back. But normally, Chris just insults me a lot.
I don't fucking insult you at all.
Don't swear. It's not 9 p.m.
But we are not live yet.
Yeah, well, just click the button. You say old man technology. Well, I was on board today and actually did it properly.
Yeah. We definitely know you were on the ball.
Oh my god.
Are we live?
Yes, we're live.
Oh,
People can still hear. We just need to do the thingy, but wait for the adverts.
Well,
I think. I don't know. Yeah, just roll the video.
Peace.
Hello. Hello and welcome everybody to the Tuesday Live. Tonight we have Adam from Micro Exotics. We also have Charlie that occasionally works Micro Exotics stands, and as always we have Chris's on wheels. Oh, cheers, Aaron. Aaron, Mr. Moon has been a channel member for 7 months. Says whoop, evening all. Chris, can you just do that little tickler thing with the discount code?
I'm already on it, don't
I literally sent Phil a message, Incredible Inverts, and said there's a discount code. I said, well, I apologise now for making you skint. He was like, Scott, I haven't done the last unboxing video yet. I was like, I know, dude. And I know Raymond's popping in as well. And what Raymond said was, I'm in England all next week. Can he change the delivery date if he orders anything?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to be better off watching this. Adam.
What's up, Jeremy?
Oh, let me
Hello, everyone in the chat. Is that correct?
What correct?
The code. Hold on, it's going to be at the very end of the tickler.
Oh, is that what it's called? The tickler.
The StreamYard call it a tickler and it runs across the bottom, so you work it out.
Yeah, that's the one.
There we go.
So what does this code gives us?
20% off everything from now until midnight.
Jeez,
20%.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's why I leave it till midnight, so you can have a little look, put it in your cart, take it out, put it back in again.
What's up, Charlotte?
Hey, Charlotte. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jackie. Hey, Bastian. Hey, Greg.
Yeah, if anybody wants
any restrictions on what can be ordered, said Greg. Would I get different cut-ins in each boxes?
Mystery boxes, yeah, you will.
But the code works on everything.
On everything, I think, except shipping. I think you still have to pay full price for shipping. Unfortunately, I'm not.
If anybody wants to dump a few £100 in my PayPal, that'd be absolutely awesome. About now.
I'm going to post the link in the chat.
Phil has just dropped your website in, and so is Chris for me as well.
Awesome.
Phil also says #1 isopod seller in the UK.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you. Phil is not endorsed, by the way. I do not pay Phil in any way, shape, or form to say that.
I've been there when he's bought a mystery box from you at a show as well, and he's literally just gone, "Yeah, I'll have that one. Thank you very much." And then you watch the video back, and you think, "My God,
how did he know?"
Isopod Dreams just asked a question for Adam. If you scroll up a little bit, Chris, you can highlight it.
I'm on it, don't worry.
Lovely.
Hey Adam, what is your favourite isopod species? Hey Philip.
It's not going to be what everyone would think, but my favourite isopod's Porcellio werneri, which is large, flat. Give me 1 second. I've moved a load of stuff around today, so
Had a mystery box from Micro Exotics. It's awesome. Definitely buying again. Mafias and Shazza's Big Adventures. 20% off. Oh my god.
They are so cool.
Super cool. Super flat. They're quite large as well. If I put my finger in there, they're actually quite a decent size.
See, between you and Phil, you're kicking off another addiction in me. See, the tarantulas are absolutely awesome. We can't take anything away from them, obviously, but at least with the isopods, you can get them out without worrying about them all running here, there, and everywhere.
It's quite cool when you can lift up a bit of wood and you've got like 50 or 60 underneath. They're all huddled together, all different sizes. They do look like a colony, which is quite rewarding when you bark flips and you do it again for a feeding and you just do the bark flip to check everything.
Adam, what was the journey into isopods for yourself? I mean, how did you first get into them? What was the first species that you bought?
Well, I've always been into bioactive tanks, and I used to keep all sorts, a lot of geckos, stuff like that was my main thing, and I used to keep a lot of frogs. And then when I had my daughter, we kind of got rid of everything to make some space for the nursery, and I wanted to get back into it again. So I just bought a few different isopods on eBay because I wanted to make terrariums. I think I started with maculatum, which is zebras, and dairy cat. And I just started, with a few lunch boxes on the shelf and a few more lunch boxes on the shelf. I was like, oh, they're pretty cool. I'll get a few of those. And at the same time, I was making terrariums. So I was just looking for more different species to keep in the terrariums. I just got hooked. I was a big
That's literally
Pokemon
how
fan.
I started as well.
I was a big Pokemon fan when I was a kid. So it's kind of like real life Pokemon. And they're so varied. There's some really, really cool species. And, they just weren't on anyone's radar like 5 or 6 years ago. These species weren't available. Loads of them have just been discovered because of the hobby, because of the isopod gold rush. All these guys out there are looking for more.
People were keeping isopods. I mean, 4.5 years ago, I had native UK species here, and I started off with about 30, ended up with a few thousand. That to put back into the garden. But you mentioned isopods, and nobody would say anything back to you, apart from maybe the odd person. And it was
No one
very.
would even know what isopod meant. It would just be like, what the fuck's that?
Woodlice people,
Yeah, woodlice or pillbug. And now the interest has gained more and more. I think that's because the likes of yourself going to the shows. But I think it's also, like you were saying, there was no new species which are just so colourful, popping here, there, and everywhere.
And another thing that I really like is I'm innately lazy, and I don't really like too many things with live food, just because I find it's just a faff and it's another thing to keep alive. Whereas with these guys, I kind of go through everything once a week thoroughly, and then I can just fly through them on another night, just quick check over, remove any uneaten food. So really, it's like 2 days in a week, and I can go through this entire room. And I can do the spiders still as well. But it's just so low maintenance in terms of what I actually need to do. It's quite handy.
What I did notice with yourself is you've obviously got a full arm tattoo. Well, it looks to me like it might be travel related.
It's pirate related. It's actually a map of
so it's way cooler. So it's way cool.
So that's the Komodo Islands, like actual format. The guy did it. I've always wanted to go there. I had tickets to go there, and then that big volcano went off in Bali about 5 years ago. I don't know if anyone remembers that. And our flight got cancelled, and I was absolutely gutted. I still want to go there one day. A big Pirates of the Caribbean fan, Captain Jack Sparrow, like octopus, and obviously I like plants.
You mean Captain Jack Sparrow?
And also, I'm right into woodlice.
It's pretty cool.
All right, mate. It says BH with a couple of pirate stuff. Hi, Michael.
Mandy has asked, has your shipping days changed?
Not yet. Currently, since I quit work 3.5 weeks ago, the website's been busier than it's ever been. And I've been packing over Monday and Tuesday. My hours have changed slightly now because my daughter started school. So I don't, I only work school hours now because I do the school runs morning and afternoon, except on a Monday when my partner's off on a Monday. So she does Monday. So that's my packing day. I can work from 6 in the morning till 6 in the evening on a Monday. That's no problem. But the rest of the week is like 9 till 3. And in that time, I have to feed and water everything in here. We've got to keep updated on the website, answer all the emails. And then obviously I've got an entire plant nursery down in my garage as well. So that is another full day. And then you've got to keep on top of the stock and the bagging up stuff and going out collecting leaves, going out collecting moss, the other sort of things that we sell on the website as well.
You can't say going out collecting moss and leaves is work.
It
Can if you keep that many isopods.
Can be when you've got a lot of
It's like maintaining our roach bins.
It's like Chris going down the salad shop for the roaches.
This is 1 week. This box is 1 week.
And what's in there?
This is just leaves. This is just 1 week's worth of food.
Oh wow.
Yeah. The importance. It's the main part of their diet. You know, that and rotting wood is the main part of their diet. I've got a lot of millipedes too. So it's just getting hold of that and sterilizing it as well. You know, putting it in the oven or freezing it. Or this time of year, it's difficult to dry it out anywhere. So it takes longer.
Can I just cover a controversial subject at the moment, which is, I don't know if you've seen the nematode thing that's going on with the tarantulas and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I've seen bits of it, yeah.
Is there anything like that we should be aware of with isopods? Is anything like zootonic that you know of, maybe?
There is one
the
thing.
only disease that springs to mind with isopods is something called iridovirus, which turns isopods blue, or like a real pale blue kind of colour. And that can be very, very contagious, I believe. Luckily, I've never had it in my collection or seen it, but a large collection, I'd imagine it can completely wipe it out.
I think this is way worse. From what I understand of it, is way worse than nematodes or anything like that.
I think once it's there, it's there. Like you're not getting rid of it. It's just slowly waste away. Essentially. But the densities that they live in, you'd spread that very, very quickly in a collection. I think a large collection of isopods you could get out.
And I think it's good that you're aware of it.
And I tell you, the second plague I would tell you about as the isopod keeper that should be warned is fungus gnats.
Cheers, Callum.
Absolute bane of my existence.
I think they're the bane of everybody's existence. You open a bag of compost and you've got 1 million.
Well, you've got them in your house, so you're like in a small room and you're confined. It's every 2 minutes. They're in your ear. It's just not pleasant.
Sorry, Mandy asked
the third one
is your shipping day still Monday?
The shipping day for the time being still Monday. Yeah, I can do other days at request, but it's Monday mainly at the moment.
So with Raymond being in the UK all next week, can he come onto the website, order tonight with a discount code, and have it shipped out the following week?
Yes, I've got a few orders already in for the following week. So if you just put in the comments at the end the week that you want it shipped, and that's the week I'll ship it for you.
Absolutely.
Is that Raymond?
Awesome. He's fascinated by isopods. Absolutely.
I have seen a lot of.
What's the best way of getting rid of the fungus gnats? I now use a electric killer, and while it's turned off, I squeeze the metal bars closer together. I know Chris uses something different, so what we'll do is just ask all four of us. So, Charlie, how do you deal with yours? If you've got them at the moment, that is, because I know you've only just moved in.
Hold on. Yeah. I'll interrupt quickly. Michael, your comment was removed because until 9 o'clock we are not allowing any swearing at all, and so we're keeping it kids friendly till 9 o'clock.
40 minutes.
If you type your message again without the swearing, it will be fine.
So I currently don't. I used to a lot in my old house because I also kept a lot more isopods then. But what I used to use was just on my whatever racking I had. I used to just have fly tapes up, and I never had that much of an issue.
Adam, what are you using to try and help combat those now?
I've got fly strips. I've got traps. I've got zappers. I've used mosquito dunks, and previously in the past, I've used nematodes. Nematodes that attack the fungus fly larvae. They're slow to work.
That's just soil nematodes.
I don't know if they're a soil nematode. You buy them from like a garden supply store, and they specifically attack fungus gnat larvae. So they break that part of the life cycle, and they'll obviously every time they kill a larvae, there'll be more. And more and more and more, and when there's no larvae left, they'll starve out and die. So I've used them before when my collection was a lot smaller, and they were brilliant. They worked really well. It was a couple of years ago. I just bought quite a few sachets to redo the entire collection and the plant room again, and I shall be inoculating all of the new soil that I make for that I sell as well. The substrate will be inoculated with that from now on. Try and combat.
Isopod Dreams, your comment, your question is in the line. Don't worry.
I can't see Adam ever supplying them anyway. Isopod Dreams because one, you have to keep those extremely cold, and two, under pressure because they come from the bottom of the ocean.
yeah. I think they have to be cool.
Which are you ever going to supply the deep sea isopod?
No,
like,
fortunately
yeah.
Not. Fortunately not.
Jez has just bought a £50 mystery box and some moss. Jezza, did you put my address on your order?
On the
how?
Carry on.
Go on, Charlie. Sorry.
I was going to say on the just nipping back 1 minute to the topic of those blue isopods. I've actually seen a lot of people post pictures of them saying, "What is this cool isopod?" Because they do move around while they have this virus, but then eventually they just die. But while they're moving around, obviously they're transmitting this virus to all of the other isopods. And I think it is in the UK. Like there are wild isopods that are just blue because of this awful virus. I've never seen it personally, but
right, Adam. When you do Jez's order, make sure you put some fancy T-sets in there.
T-shirts.
He sells the T-sets at the shows. T-sets.
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 He's a posh boy. That's fine.
Might be able to sort you a mug, Jeremy.
So he come on alive with me and Chris, and he had a T-set behind him, and it was Luke from Spiders. Just put, "What is that behind you?" And he was like this, and just pushed it out of the shop, trying to pretend no one was noticing. So, and then with the last show, Lee Arden clocked it, and Lee changed his description on the actual sellers list to say something like invertebrate and T-sets.
That's fantastic.
While we're on the subject of TSS, the spider that everybody was saying that's TSS, that spider's got nematodes. No, it's not. Confirmed by a vet. It was sent off to the vets, and it had, I think it was 3 days testing on it, wasn't it, Chris? To come back with 0 nematodes. So TSS are actually nematode free. So carry on buying from there with confidence.
Sarah Dawes asked, "Will rubber duckies ever come down in price?" I can't answer that, but are they slow growing breeding? Yes, they are. Some cubaris are a lot quicker than others, but definitely duckies are one of the slower ones, hence why they're so pricey.
I agree with Charlie there. They will come down. There's a lot more people having success with them now. And obviously with anything, as the market fills with them, the price will come down. I'll be putting my price on them down again soon, I'd imagine. I've set up a couple of extra colonies. So once they take off, I'll be able to put the price down on what we've got here, yeah. Can I give you a time frame on that, though?
Panda Kings were well expensive when they came out, and now they're relatively cheap.
Yeah, I paid like I think like white sharks. I think I paid about £300 for 10 of those. I can ascertain I've probably got about 1,200 of them here at the moment, and I will not sell them at any price. Some are very prolific. They really take off. Others are a lot slower. I mean, I've got things like I've got some species I've had for 2 or 3 years, and I might only still have 13 of them, 12 of them, 7 of them, maybe a couple.
You said your lemon blues were a bit like that.
Yeah, lemon blues they've never really done that well for me. Whereas like Jupiters and rubber ducks, I'm breeding pretty well. You know, there must be something I'm missing in the diet, or perhaps the founding stock I got wasn't great, wasn't well established. That's the other thing as well. A lot of the isopods that were coming in 2 or 3 years ago that were still super expensive, these new species, they were coming in wild caught. And they just hadn't been acclimatized. The stress from the trip, they might survive like a week, 2 weeks, and then belly up. I mean, me and Charlie found out the hard way. We bought some Thai spikes. I think we spent about 800 quid, and they were all dead in maybe 12 days, all of them.
Wow,
that's from me and Adam both trying.
Yeah, between us. I even bought like a fogger and everything. They're so delicate, they're so small. The stress from this trip is probably what's done most of the damage. But once they have been bred, the next generation seems to be a lot hardier and a lot more acclimatized to our conditions. It's never going to have to go through that long overseas travel. So yeah, a lot of the hardier species are doing really well. And I have to actually have
a week
to do
in a
this.
box.
yeah, that's the thing. But we've got to buy some of these species in, you know, and have a go with them. Otherwise, we're never going to get them captive bred. So that's always been the goal: is to try and captive breed as many species as possible, and so we don't got to keep bringing them in.
I think it's probably good to say as well. Sorry, Scott. Good to say for you, Adam, all your stuff that you sell is captive bred.
Yes, yeah, everything we sell is 100% captive bred. We never sell anything wild caught. I've just started doing a few spiders as well, and those are Charlie's captive breedings. I've got a few going on as well. All the millipedes I sell, they're all captive bred. I've got some scorpions coming up, they're captive bred. So yeah, all the isopods that we sell. I will be honest, this year I've had to buy isopods in to sell purely because the site's been so busy. We've not been able to produce some species, but again, they're 100% wild caught, and then most of them come from
captive bred.
UK breeders. Wild caught captive bred, 100% captive bred. And most of them, you know, come from UK breeders. So yeah.
Michael, that's a great question actually. Says any recommendations for cubaria species that won't break the bank but are still super cool, something kind of middle price range?
A Cubaris white shark, they're awesome. They're really one of the smallest Cubaris species. White, orange, black, really prolific, really easy to keep, and the price on them has dropped dramatically. So you're talking, I think between I've just dropped the price on the website. Foolishly, I've just realised I dropped the price of them last night, and I've still given everyone 20% off. So if you want something cool, white sharks right now, because you're going to get a banging deal.
And
I will say
the 20% off was actually Adam's idea as well. He says, "Can we do 20% off what we do live?" I was like, "Yeah."
Like a couple of hours before.
Damn, all right.
I priced on a load of stuff last night. I should have waited.
Wow.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I will say with the white sharks,
quick go on his site and buy loads before he starts realising how much money he's losing. I'm just wondering, Adam, if
just have a look at it.
If you can flip your camera again.
Orders since we've been talking, I'm just gonna have to have a quick look. There we go.
If one says incredible inverts and other animals, right?
With the
Go on, Charlie,
sharks, with the white shark. Oh yeah, Michael has white sharks. He said, yeah, with the white sharks, I only say if anyone orders them and you can't find them when they come, it's because they like to bury a lot. So a lot of Cubaris will stay under cork or on top of the substrate. Some of them, but these ones really will bury down, and then in like a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you'll realise you have loads more.
You think they're all dead, and you're like, oh wait.
Emma says captive bred is the way to go. Oh no, another addiction. I did say it at the start of the live, didn't I? Oh, happy birthday, Aaron. Adam, I'm wondering if you could flip the camera again, and we could check out some of the species that you keep.
Yeah, 100%.
Just before you do that, I mean, how many species do you keep, and then how many species do you actually have? So, like, how many's on the website compared to how many do you actually keep? And
I think on the website there's about 75, and I know in here when I did the last count, there's 146 or something like that, and I know I've got another 15 or so coming in the next few weeks. So I'm not greedy. I'm not selfish. I like to buy something and only buy it once if I can. So I will buy 10, like most people do, and I will sit on it. I will sit on it till it is at a size that I'm happy to sell from. Because early days, I made the mistake of selling too many from some colonies, and it just takes too long to recover, and you end up with this huge lull in supply. So by making sure you've got enough first before you start selling. I get a lot of questions like, "Oh, I've seen you post a picture of this. Have you got any?" I'm just like, "They're ready when they're ready," you know. But yeah, so there's 140 or so.
yeah, that's the thing with isopods, isn't it? I remember Phil saying on a live that you've got to be like the UK's biggest supplier of isopods.
No, do you know what?
Isopod Dreams. Cheers, Chris.
I will shout out a few other people as well that are fantastic what they do. Dubia Paul. I don't know if you guys anyone knows Dubia Paul, breeds live food. Hey, he's also got a fantastic range of
use them every now and again.
Tom Marsh, if anyone knows Tom Marsh over at Exotic Empire. He's a really sound guy. He breeds quite a lot of inverts, quite a lot of isopods. And I give a shout out to Nicole Louise. She hasn't got a web page, but she's a private breeder. And she does really well. I mean, she's got stuff that I haven't got for sure. And she's brilliant at what she does. Yeah.
She breeds those Vietnam species like rabbits.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, prolific.
She really is, cracks the code to keep those. And she's got some amazing Cubara species as well. And she's got some real oddities that I've never even seen in this country or in Europe. So she's got some real cool stuff. So definitely give her a shout out there.
We've got a couple of isopod breeders, sellers that I know of in the chat. Obviously, Phil, Incredible Inverts and Other Animals, Leah and Unusual Pets as well. So I think that just shows their popularity again, though, Adam.
Oh yeah. I know when I started, there wasn't many people doing it at all, and I've noticed over the last few years, there's more people doing it, which is fantastic, you know, because there's enough different species for everybody to have a go and sell something different, you know.
Isopod Dreams has asked you a question. Is red pandas easy to keep?
Yes, just as easy as Panda King. Just as easy. They're the same. One's just red.
Jeremy has said, Adam, dude, if you want to start from... I don't know what that...
What does that mean? HMU.
Hit me
Adam,
up.
dude, if you want to stock from, how much... Oh, hit me up. Yeah.
What he's saying is, if you want to need
Jeremy wants to stock some of your items on his phone.
Defo, Jeremy. Drop me a message, mate, with what you got, and we'll talk trades as well. If anyone here does keep stuff, and I don't just keep isopods, I keep millipedes and cockroaches too. Also keep tarantulas. I'm a bit fussy with tarantulas, as Charlie would tell you. I don't really like old world stuff. I've got a little kid. She's just as clumsy as I am, so I'm quite into like new world stuff. Avix mainly is what I'm really into. So, but yeah, I love to trade. That's how I actually met Charlie. I think we traded a few bits. Met so many people through the hobby, just trading stuff. So yeah, we always do swaps.
He says if you want to stock any of the true spiders, let him know. Jeremy does.
I'll leave that to you, Jeremy.
I thought you might say that.
I will say after
I'm thinking
today,
if you don't like the old worlds, there's no way he's gonna have the truth.
After today, I have a newfound respect for Jeremy, I must say, because today has been a crazy day. I've if you check out all here, right? This is all this collection I brought recently, all up here as well. I've had to rehouse so much today, and I had a box come from Enclosures, which was 10 out of 10, unbelievable. So I've been so busy today, and my girlfriend's been busy as well. And I've got some new wall spider species for Jeremy that I managed to get called Hogna gumia. I believe they're CF Gumia, so they're not actually described yet. But they're really cool. They've got a nice stripe down the back of them. But they're first instar wall spiders. And firstly, my God, these things are quick, like really quick.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, really quick. And not only every single one of them gave me the runaround. So as soon as I popped that lid, they started running around my floor of my my spider room. And then when you drop the flies in, you can watch them like zoom and hunt these flies down. Like unlike tarantulas, like they're such visual predators. So
I think what we'll do, Bastian, is we'll ask Adam to do a little bit of a tour of some of the stuff that he's got. Some of the cool, cheaper stuff, some of the expensive stuff, and then we'll bombard him with isopod keeping questions. How's that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Sarah has asked, can you show us some Diablos?
Can I flip this around somehow?
He's just doing it now, Chris. We're gonna have a quick tour of stuff that he's got.
Scott, I think while we're here, we should ask you what genus are the Diablos in?
I don't know how to turn this around.
Yeah, just because.
And it's Miscellaneous now or something.
Adam,
No, just because I like the way you say it.
hold on. Adam, click settings.
That's what he gets me.
There's a gear icon on the bottom.
Yeah.
Click that. There's camera. Then you click camera, and then there's a drop-down menu. And once you click that drop-down menu, it allows you to choose which camera. Choose the last one, because that's autofocus rear camera. So there's a gear icon, like settings, next to the camera.
Yeah, no one.
Next to the camera icon.
Yeah.
It's not just
Click
us old
settings,
people
camera,
that get confused by
and then you
technology.
can choose it through the drop-down menu to change the camera.
No, I'm just going to do it like this. Sorry, dude.
Tara's been a channel member for 26 months. If you turn your camera, your phone, whatever it is, sideways, you'll fill the whole screen too.
There we go.
There we go.
I can't quite see what I'm pointing at, so I'm just going to go through, and then if anyone sees anything they like, I'll get it off the shelf, and we'll get it down and have a look.
Hold
This is
on.
mainly Cubaris, top shelves mainly Cubaris. So we've got rubber duckies, caramel cream, panda king, a couple of tubs of Jupiter.
Oh,
Tide
it's
Blue
changed the
Rainbow.
layout. So if you click more with the three dots,
Yeah.
then there's settings,
Yep, gotcha. Found
and
it.
then there's camera, and then you can choose facing back, facing
lovely.
forward.
There we go.
There we go. So yeah, we've got rubber duckies, caramel
it's not
cream, panda king.
Make him big.
I know. And he needs to flip the camera, still the phone.
Turn it to the side. There we
Hey.
go.
Awesome.
Adam, what I'm saying, just get out, dude. Just show us whichever ones you fancy.
Okay, cool. I tell you what, so I think it's really underrated. Sorry. Really cool little species. It's Cubaris Pacchong. Now I'm going to try and do this without dropping the phone because I've got
Look, there you go.
sweaty hands.
That's a good view.
Oh, they're nice.
They are nice.
Really
Woodland.
cool little orange face. This is Cubaris species Pacchong. Really cool little Cubaris species. And anyone that keeps Cubaris, I highly recommend getting some of this stuff. It's called tufa rock, and it's like calcite deposits. It's really soft. It's really lightweight. It comes with like lots of natural crevices in it, and the Cubaris, which are naturally cave species,
Fossilized coral.
really like it. I'm just going to pump it. I do sell it on the website, but there are loads of other places you can get it from. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. The Cubaris always seem to really enjoy it. There's a few more under there. There's lots of babies in here as well, but I don't think my camera's going to pick them up.
It does.
Sort of hide in the bottom. I've
I've used cuttlefish
just keep going through.
and bird grip.
These are one of my favourites. They're my first Marinella species I kept. Marinella species tricolour. I can't see a baby on
Oh,
there.
they're beautiful.
Little baby just there. Another one just coming on the top there.
Someone asked what the caramel creams are, Adam.
Caramel creams. Yeah, 2 seconds. Just put the lids back. Just for anyone
Sounds
curious
like a
as to
bit
why I
good.
keep in the different tubs. Recently, I've decided to switch over to a new system. There's a 3D printed vents that screw in. So you've got one on the front, one on the back. They're fly proof. They're also escape proof, so none of the mantai can get out from here. Whereas the old style that I used to use, found out quite quickly that Marinella can climb, and I just used to melt holes in the top. So I've slowly switched over, and I will be switching over the entire collection, but it's just a big effort, so I'll be doing it slowly into these new boxes. Got some up here like ready to go and stuff. So yeah, who was asking for caramel cream?
Someone. Let's see. What's the tea? Emma was asking.
Are these ones that you can dunk in tea?
Say again, mate.
I was just joking. What's your fingers just covering part of the screen, dude? That's the one. They sound like a biscuit. Oh, they're gorgeous.
Really nice. Almost like a tiramisu kind of.
Yeah.
I think that's caramel cream. I think that's also another name for it, isn't it? Quite prolific. Take a while to get going. But yeah, once they get going.
Quite large as well.
Yeah, definitely one of the larger Cubaris. Cluster and one in there. So yeah, they're really cool species. So I'm just pointing you guys over the shop here.
BH has asked, what's the temperature and humidity in the room?
Hey, Sam.
There you go. That answers your question.
25 degrees, 64%.
Yeah. It sits between 24.5 and 26 in here. It's got a bit warmer because I'm in here, and I'm pretty hot-blooded. So.
Jeza has asked, can we see Murina Glacier?
Yes.
And then Michael has asked orange freezes.
Just turn the camera on the side again. Sorry, Adam.
That's all right. Is it gone? Is it doing it?
There we go. It just fills the whole picture when it's like that. Otherwise, it just looks like a TikTok. Oh, nice. Very nice.
They almost glow. They're actually pretty cool. Small as well, and breed like Cubaris marina, so they're very prolific. I also have the Mandarin, which is like a Mandarin colour. There we go.
Oh, they're nice.
Oh.
Speed of them as well. My God.
Yeah, they're really quick little dudes. Yeah.
I thought Vietnam was fast.
Oh, they're not as fast as those. They're not as fast as those. Sorry, I'm covering the camera again.
They're gorgeous, man.
He's back on the shelf.
So
Wolf Goddess would like to see the white sharks.
White
Scott, you're going out of fucking line.
What?
Have you seen orange freezes?
Orange freezy first, then white shark.
No, then it's different.
You want it, Chris? Yeah. Oh, nice one.
I've starred every single one in order.
Oh, nice one. So all the questions that are coming through and stuff, Chris has got you all lined up because he's a superstar. Hey, Leah. Leah's in the back. Always in the back on a Tuesday with the live.
Orange freezy.
I thought they were Orange Frenzy, honestly.
Orange Frenzy, Orange Freezy. I think they've just Chinese Whispers has happened with a name there.
Oh, okay.
Orange Frenzy sounds better, if I'm honest.
It does.
Then Aaron has asked a question: what is the largest isopod species?
Porcellio Hoffman-Seggi, which I've got in a few colours here. And
is it not that one that begins with a Z?
Hoffman-Seggi is the largest by length. I think there is. Are you thinking of Expanser?
No, they're not even in the hobby.
Oh, maybe that's news to me. This is a Hoffman-Seggi.
They're massive.
Yeti.
Ooh,
So that's actually an adult male. You can tell by the Europods on the back. See, they're really long.
Is that your own morphology?
It is a mutation that popped up in my collection, and I did manage to isolate it, and I'm pretty happy with it because I hadn't seen anyone else do it, so I believe I was the first.
That one's eating your finger.
He's pretty hungry, as you can see there.
Paul Grams is just going back to work. Sadly, he's missing this one because he says he loves microexotics. Where do we put the code when we're entering on the order? Greg says.
Check out at the end. There's a little box. Put code in.
And what's the TM says? How many rubber duckies do you have?
A few hundred. A few hundred, I believe. Last count. If I'm honest, it's very, very rare that I will pull the entire tub apart. Very rare that I'll pull an entire tub apart to count. So I normally just do a surface count, and there's normally more in there. Here's one of my favourites that is pretty common, but I think everyone should have them in their collection. This is Porcellio bolivari. They almost look like a skeleton of an isopod.
Oh, they're cool.
They're really cool. There's a nice big one there.
And they won't break the bank as well.
Really cool
species. They are cool, aren't they?
Yeah, very cool and not too expensive.
Not too expensive at all. No.
The Hoffman Segi that I bought off you from, I think it was a show Charlie worked at actually. They've chucked out a few babies, Yetis.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, what I did is I just took all the normals out. I think the show.
Beautiful.
So probably hope we've just got orange as well now, which are breeding really well. Segi orange. There's another one of my favourites, Expansus.
Oh, Expansus.
Absolute beauty.
Are you doing the Coventry show, Adam?
Unfortunately not. I planned on quitting my job by this point of the year, and that was the weekend I was supposed to be working. Obviously now I quit my job. So I'm a man of leisure on weekends, but I tried to get tables for Brighton. I couldn't get a table for Brighton, so I will be booking up shows really early next year, and I'll be booking out all the ones that I plan on doing. So we'll be at quite a few more next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is one side of the room. Obviously, we've got millipedes and cockroaches, double stacked.
I'll be coming to see you at the next show, and you're right. That's for sure. Again.
Right, hold on. I'm gonna present screen for Greg because he can't find this place. Hold on. So basically, when you're on the side and when you're in his basket, there's a side option on the side which says have a promo code, redeem your coupon, and when you click it there, that's where you add Scott's Inverts.
Lovely, nice one, Chris.
You do have to add my address as your delivery address, though. That's the only thing.
That's the only way it works.
It's the only way it works.
Yeah, it gives you 20% off. Right. Erin has asked you a question. Do you own centipedes or tarantulas?
I keep tarantulas. I do not keep centipedes, no. And I never will. I don't like them.
We have white shark.
White shark.
Tash said, I like. Just keeping you busy tonight, Adam.
It's cool. I think the thing is, I have had a move around this week, and I have foolishly, I know where everything is, and half of it hasn't got labels on. Now I've moved it all around. I don't know where it all is.
25% of my tarantulas aren't labelled up. I just know what they are.
If I really could, before they all run off,
it's like why do you need to put a label on if you know what it is?
There's gonna be another 3 after that. What people want to see. Hold on.
Oh my goodness!
Oh. Wow.
And the thing with the white sharks is they actually live in like the top part of the soil.
Oh. Wow.
If all the white sharks from me this evening, you're just going to get a scoop.
That is mental.
Wow.
Do you know what it reminds me of? It looks like candy corn. It looks like little moving bits of candy corn.
They're a super cool species. I think these are probably going to be like one of the most commonly kept in the future for bioactive setups and stuff, just because they're wicked.
Sure. And they live in the substrate and burrow down, so it's going to be great.
Yeah, they kind of act a bit like a dwarf white, and they don't take up too much.
Good looking.
Yeah, a beautiful dwarf
Oh,
white.
he left.
Oh.
Oh no.
Hello. Took us
Oh, what is
back
breaking?
on.
Right.
There we go.
Hello.
Put up. Let me just put some stuff back for a trip over.
Oh,
Right. Can you dig out Armadillium espagnoli,
Yes.
expansus, and there was another one. I forgot which
We
one.
done
Flugy nebulous.
expansus.
Oh, we done expansus, yeah.
Done expansus. I'm gonna just do it like this because I keep flipping my phone around. It's making me dizzy. Espagnoli, very, very cool species.
Oh wow.
Espagnoli marbleized, they call them. Don't have these for sale yet. I've got a few that I could probably let go, but I don't have them on my website at the moment. But they're very cool species.
Did we show some Klugies? Klugie nebula.
Klugies. Yeah, we've got a
Nebulous.
few Klugies.
I like the Armadillion. Armadillion Klugers are nice. And the Montenegro.
One of the best things about Armadillidium is the brood size. I mean, they have massive brood, most species. So you're talking like 80 plus babies on a lot of them. And they're so small, you don't see them for ages. But then all of a sudden, if I show you Solano at the moment, Solano over there, this is almost like a sea of babies in here. I'll hold this a bit closer to the phone because I feel them falling.
Oh my
You see them just dropping off.
Oh wow. Literally, yeah.
Which ones are these?
Wow.
This is Armadillidium Klugi Solano.
Oh.
These are absolutely gorgeous. Not can't see them too good.
The Klugie nebula.
The Klugi Nebula, yeah. If I can find them.
Trust me, you're going to be busy today. Lots of exercise.
Appreciate all this though, Adam. Really do. Now, you're not going to see how gorgeous these are because obviously it's very difficult to show them correctly on a live. But if you head over to Adam's website and check out the macro footage, your minds will be blown. Trust me.
Sorry, I'm just going to put things back as I go, otherwise I'm going to get...
Don't rush. You'll be here for ages.
What am I looking for? What am I looking for?
Klugie nebula.
Nebula.
Yeah, the video might not do these justice, but they are stunning.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Hold up, I'll flip the camera because if I'm going to keep showing you guys, I'll just flip it around again.
I could sense that Adam was like, this isn't doing them justice.
Sideways.
Yes, Bobs.
No. Phone sideways.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's a lot.
Oh my god.
They're really, each one's different. There's loads in here, so if you just move a few bits around. In the corner.
Lovely.
Yeah, they're a cracker. They're a cracker. I thought I had isolated this morph, and it appears someone else has isolated another morph, but these have not come from that stock. They have come from an entirely different. So I believe it's just the same mutation, and it is given two different names now. Nebula, which is the line that I isolated, and Skeleton, which is the line that I believe Mark Titterton isolated. So I have to give kudos there because I wasn't aware when I started selling these that there was another line that's the same.
Do you think you'd be able to make it up to one of the Scottish shows up in Scotland?
No. Just put it in
context. You're literally the other end of the country to Scotland, aren't you?
I live in Cornwall, so Scotland.
Wolf Goddess has asked when the pink dragons will be back in stock.
I've got no pink dragons, unfortunately, at the moment. I lost all of my breeding stock when I moved house, and I've not managed to find any new ones.
All right, and then we have this question, which is, Scott, you read this. I have sore throat.
Any chance you can show the difference in size for your 2-foot rock? Looking at ordering some just now, but do I order the multi-small or the
Just
We
one
would,
large.
just one
we would have
large?
to we would have to go down to the stock shed for that. But it's pretty dark down there at the
So
moment. But
unfortunately, this is impossible to do. Then we want Diablos.
Diablos.
And
Roughly, how big's the small one? If you can do it with like hand size, and then how?
It's difficult because it's done by weight. So it's under 100 grams, I think. Small's up to 250 grams. So I'll always find you the biggest bit I can that's close to 250 grams. It's gonna be like a couple of bits, maybe golf ball sized.
There you go, perfect.
to answer your question, Isopod Dreams, if you already keep Armadillidium klugi or Armadillidium something along those lines, nebulas will be the same.
Okay, I can remove that
That
question.
that
from
rock,
there.
by the way, if anybody keeps snails or slugs and you're looking for a calcium source, do not use that rock.
Oh,
Yeah, these are very, very risky. And that running around really quick is a fungus gnat, not an isopod.
Yeah, there's a lot of them in there.
Oh, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're super cool. They're really active as well. They're always out, like, running about. Yeah, there's quite a few in here. They all seem to be hiding under here this morning.
The thing I like about this genus is you can really see them and they're moving about really quickly, like they're sensing their environment.
Also, I'm going to put the lid back on because I'm getting fungus flies up my nose. They've obviously got in there.
yeah. Emma has asked, are you ever going to do a live packing of orders?
What
Well,
does
like
that mean?
a TikTok live or a YouTube live?
Do you know what? Probably not, because I swear an awful amount when I'm doing orders. And do you know what? Really, I don't do a lot of these like personal videos with a face on it. I might start doing a few more now that I'm full time, but before I just sort of keep my head down and just do what I was doing, because I was doing this whilst working for like 4 years. And I don't have the time, know how people have like WhatsApp groups and stuff like that as well. And I have the time to keep up with all the questions and all the answers. It's just, I struggle with that side of the business a little bit. This is my Zen zone.
It's a headache. It's
Yeah.
a headache. When you've got a WhatsApp group, keeping everybody happy simultaneously is very difficult.
Isopod Dreams has asked, are nebulas easy to keep or not?
That's why I was answering Chris. Just
But he said he does not have klugis,
Oh, okay.
but he wants nebulas.
They're very easy to keep. Yeah, they're just a standard Armadillidium, half wet, half dry. Don't let them get too hot. Lots of leaf litter, lots of rotting woods. You can't really go wrong with Klugi in any form. I mean, I got a few morphs here. We've got Klugi Pudding, Klugi Dobronovic, Klugi Solano, Klugi Nebula, and Klugi Montenegro. All easy to keep. All easy to keep.
Could you just show us literally the setups and how easy these guys are actually to keep? The reason I ask is because I always like the idea of having the Panda Kings, but worried about the keeping side of it until I've found out, exactly how easy these are to actually set up, and then you just leave them.
Yes. So for a small colony, so if I was starting out with a small colony, I would use something like this, a 3 litre tub. These are pretty good. These are 3.6 litre tubs. I know a lot. I also use the 1.3 litre bra flasks, which are really good for small cubaris. I think the most important thing when keeping isopods is the substrate. They will eat everything that's on the sort of the top inch of substrate. They'll burrow down and eat it. And the clue's in the name. They're called wood lice. So the majority of what they eat is rotten wood, rotten leaves. That is the bulk of most of their diet. So a good quality substrate with lots of rotten hardwoods. Can't stress enough, it's got to be hardwood. The softwood will just go moldy and they won't eat it.
Not the whitewood.
Yes, which comes from hardwood trees, isn't it? The rotten whitewood, and that's what they like to eat. So oak, deciduous trees, and the leaf litter. I see a lot of people at the moment using green leaves. Shouldn't really be using the green leaves. What you want is the leaves that have fallen down on the floor and have had some time to break down. So if I open up one of these enclosures, you can see sort of just like a basic setup. So normally I have like a wet end, it's got moss on it, and then we have a few bits of cork bark, and then there's just lots of leaf litter on the underside. And I keep one side significantly wetter than I keep the other. I don't know if you notice in these, I've got one vent higher than the other. And what that does is obviously hot air rises, so it promotes air exchange, pulls air through the tub, keeps the tub a little bit fresher. If you have both vents the same side, there's no there is air exchange, but this just promotes it a little bit better.
Hey, Amy, just to warn you, it's 9 o'clock. From this moment, we are going to be swearing. And there will be adult conversations.
So if you have got any children watching, please remove them from the vicinity. We can't be held responsible for them now hearing more swear words and like Chris said, the adult conversation as well.
Martin Clifton says you're his hero.
Tell Martin Clifton that I absolutely love the socks off of him.
Erin has asked you a question. Are you going Brighton this year?
I might. No, I'm not. I'm not going to Brighton this year. No, I tried to get tickets. I tried to get a table, and I left it too late. It's my bad. So no, I'm not going to be doing Brighton this year. But my parents live that way, so next year I will definitely be doing Brighton and making a bit of a weekend of it.
Oh yeah, we will.
You know, go back to the white wood.
Yes.
I take it you can also use. Charlie's going to laugh now, but shiitake. Shiitake.
Yes. So what they use
Shiitake.
for beetle larvae?
Yes.
I'd imagine so.
White mushrooms kind of go onto the rotten wood and disintegrate it even further, and then they process it into almost a powder, don't they?
It's almost like a flake soil that's left. Yeah.
It's flake soil.
Yeah, I'm sure
And
you
it
could.
smells
I mix
amazing.
soil with my substrate, and it doesn't do any harm whatsoever. It's entirely edible soil for especially for millipedes. Fantastic for millipedes and beetles. You know.
Isopod Dreams has asked, are you going Bedford next year?
I haven't thought that far ahead yet. We need to look at perhaps
or Seas in January.
Again, I'm not sure yet. We're tossing a few things up at the moment. It's still only me that does this, and doing a show can be quite a big feat, and it means shutting the website. And currently, the website is taking more in a week than we take out a show. So it's working out the logistics behind it, whether it's worth doing a show or not. So potentially,
I think it's just worth.
Well
I think it's just worth mentioning that Adam has only just given up full-time work to do this full-time. So when it comes to the shows, bear with while he finds his feet, because you know it's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just because I live in Cornwall. Most of the shows are as far away from me as possible. Obviously, Taunton is my closest one, so I'll definitely be at Taunton. I'll definitely be at Bristol. I would like to do the BTS in Coventry this year for sure. Potentially the Central show in London, and we'll have a look. But I'm unlikely to go probably anywhere north of Coventry, if I'm honest, unless we start looking at accommodation, which means probably getting a van. But it's just ideas we're playing around with still at the moment.
You can get cheap enough accommodation. If you speak to like Leah and Phil, those guys get the Airbnbs and stuff like that. And if you all jump in together, it's going to reduce the cost to get even further, isn't it?
Yeah. No, it's definitely something that I'm going to be looking at doing more of, because I enjoy the shows. They're really good networking. It's good to meet, other people in the hobby. And we do well at shows as well. So I'd like to do more. It's just the distance. It's always a big travel. And I was working, every other weekend up until 3.5 weeks ago. So I work nights. So it was
I think
difficult.
the big thing is, right, and even saying this before I knew you, like there's no large isopod vendor at any shows ever unless you're there. And people do sell isopods, but they don't have the array and the selection that you have at Micro Exotics. And I think the amount of people that we get coming up to us and they're asking about them and intrigued, and they really find them awesome and cute, and that's just like fantastic. And you can't really get that over a website, or if they don't know about you in the first place. So
Yeah.
That's, it's definitely the variety. Even the show organizers say to you all the time, and it is fantastic.
Yeah, we just want to keep bringing more. I just want to keep bringing more. That's the plan. So yeah, we're going to be doing more for sure.
I agree with that.
I'm not going to go to Scotland though. I'm going to put that one out there.
I don't do that either, and I'm closer than you.
Yeah, Phil says he's used shit take blocks with isopods. Great stuff.
Shit take blocks. Good.
That's what we're on about.
Ask
Black
Phil
soil.
if you could ask Phil to private message me where he got that from, because I'd love to do an experiment with that and see how it goes. Because
Bugs UK is where I got mine from.
Because it's a waste product. It's a waste product used on the mushroom farms. So we could be left with something that could be used for the isopods.
I got mine from Bugs UK, but it's bloody expensive from them because everything is.
Got a zoo to run, It's got to be.
That's it, innit, I suppose. But still.
Back in 2 seconds.
Well, yeah, again, like Charlie said, I had literally 5-10 minutes with Adam at the end of one of the shows. If you do see him at a show, go and say hello. Go speak to the guy. He's absolutely awesome.
Cheers, man.
Literally, yeah. Him and Charlie is like going up to the in-betweeners.
I don't want to ask which one.
Phil says, Bugs UK sell it, or if you can have a mushroom farm near you, might be worth. That could be that might be a nice little sideline, Adam. Mushroom farm.
Well,
Leah said, Adam, she's yet to talk to you, and she really would love to talk about isopods with you.
Yeah, unusual pets. She does majority of the show. Hey, Tron, she does the majority of the shows now.
Oh, Scott, I completely forgot. You're a fucking wanker.
You need 10 minutes late.
I'm not 10 minutes late. You were just busy talking, and I'm bearing in mind if we gave the watershed too fucking late, I had to wait for the kids to be removed.
I was kind of thinking. Here we go. Yeah, Callum's been a channel member for 20 months. I think he said earlier, and said Scott's a wanker. Bastion's just called me a wanker as well. It's commonplace. Just the W and the anchor. Absolute commonplace. To the point where Mark 3D printed that and painted it up and sent it in.
That's pretty cool.
I'm gonna have to start adding little grey lines into the beard soon, though. I think I spent blocks on eBay once when I was. Oh yes, yeah. What else is on the website, Adam, apart from the isopods and the tarantulas?
So obviously the other really big thing that I do is plants. So I'm really into tropical plants as well, which I always found the two go hand in hand. So yeah, I grow a lot of weird and wonderful small tropical plants. Obviously not in this room, but downstairs in my garage. If you guys would like to see it, I can take this downstairs. We can continue down there. Like I said, I do a lot of millipedes. We've got a lot of cockroaches. We're starting to move a bit more into. I've always kept tarantulas, but I've decided I want to breed loads. But if I can help Charlie out as much as Charlie's helped me out, coming and helping out the shows and selling a few of his bits on the website for him, then I'm going to sort of help him out that way and hopefully sell a few of my bits on there as well. Don't want to be known for spiders. That's not what we're doing. But if we've got a few bits surplus, then why not put it on the website?
Does that mean you've got a load of heart bacteria pulchrip slings at the moment?
Yes, it does.
Oh my god! Oh my god! If anybody's watching, the heart bacteria pulchrips, especially in the WhatsApp group, because this is literally one of your friends has paired these and then got the babies, which I think just makes them extra special myself. Head over to the website, go grab some of them. Plants, yes. Leah says show us the plants. Bastion says plants. I think the offer of going checking out the plants, Adam's gone down well.
Right, smash it, because it's getting really hot in here. So I'm just going to shut this window, flick you off for 30 seconds, and then I'll be back.
Do you
No
need
worries.
more slings, like new rolls?
Yeah, just drop me. I mean, I don't want millions of anything because at the moment, if I'm honest,
No, that's
spiders aren't
understandable.
selling loads. But if we can have a little bit more variety, mainly beginner stuff, or like I said before, I'm quite typecast, so a lot of the spiders I want to keep in a nice setup. That's most of what we aim at doing is live planted tanks. I know a lot of the isopods I've got in here aren't in live planted tanks. It's purely because of space. I don't have the space to keep as many
Where
as
do you
I've
want
got.
me to message you?
Yeah, just drop me a message about Instagram, Facebook, email.
On Micro Exotics.
Micro Exotics.
Micro Exotics on Facebook.
Hold on at the end, dude, and I'll give you my telephone number.
I'll probably be here till then.
Don't do that. It'll send you inappropriate messages and all sorts. This is Chris the Crazy Latvian. Oh my god.
Right, I'm just going to take this down to the plant room, so bear with me.
But I will tell you, Adam, Chris has paired up some amazing spiders, and he's also loved in our community that we've got here. So those slings should sell like hotcakes.
Awesome. Right, there we go. Just migrate through my house.
I have 3 of the curly hair slings if you want them.
I'm just migrating to the garage.
Is it just the one? Is it the one? Hey, Anton. Is it the one child that you've got, Adam, or?
Yes, just the one. She's 4, nearly 5 now. She started school in September.
Is it your partner wife, or?
She's trying to get up. She's pushing me away.
You're punching above your weight there, sunshine.
I know. I'm lucky.
He says that to everyone anyway.
Michael's just put a $5 on the chat. Says, just placed my order. The 10-piece white shark went out of stock when it was in my basket when I was messing around with the Tufa rock. Looking forward to it.
Tell him I'm just going to put some more stock now.
Oh,
You're going to put some more up on the website. He's going to put some more up on the website, dude. Thank you for supporting the channel there as well. Appreciate that.
Oh, they're still in stock. No, they're still in stock, man. There's plenty there.
Charlie's right,
Okay.
though. I mean, everybody's girlfriend. I always say you're punching above your weight because we're invert geeks, yet we still manage to get these beautiful partners of ours. I'll never understand it.
I got a wet finger now. Bear with me.
And not only that, they let us keep billions and billions. Oh my god! Yeah, I'll shut up.
So yeah, this is the plant setup. This is also where I pack everything along this bench here. So I do all the packing. You know, I've got a lot of the cardboard boxes, all the other crap that goes with running the business through the door, and then adjoined to the other side of the garage is another shed which I keep a lot of the other stuff in, like bulk substrates and stuff like that. And then I've also got a storage unit where I keep even more stuff in. So yeah, I found running a business is you need space, especially when I do it from home. So yeah, all these boxes, all live.
Thank you, Bastion. Appreciate that. Bastion's just dropped 200 DKK.
Yes, someone just bought a massive order a second ago. It's obviously some aquariums.
Did they use the discount code? Just bear with. Yeah, Adam is down in the garage or down in the basement, so we are going to
take a look across the bottom of the screen, River Darling, and you'll find the discount code.
So yeah, this is obviously the plant room.
What lights are you using for your plants, Bill says?
So I've got various different lights. We've got Arcadia Jungle Dawns, which honestly will blind the fuck out of you.
Yeah, mine's now in the cupboard. It's that bright.
Reptile Systems New Dawn. These are really good LEDs. And then I've got Barina. It looks like the cable tie snapped over there. Barina LEDs, which I bought. These are plant grow LEDs off of Amazon. They're good, but I've got 2 running per shelf, and I've noticed since I hooked these up, it's fucking hot in here. So yeah, they give out.
If you want a cheap way of heating your room, they're the ones.
Yeah. Well, when I
But-
bought the house last year, this was just a garage, so we insulated it last year, and I think we insulated it too well because you literally, if you fart in here, you can smell it for a couple of days. It's so hot in here.
It's the same when Chris farts, but it doesn't matter where he is.
But to be honest, most plant lights from Amazon will do the trick if you're just looking for like
Cheers,
variant setups or anything like that.
Yeah, Jungle Dawn are probably like one of the best brands out there, Arcadia, but they're pricey. They're very pricey. They give out a lot of heat. They're normally quite high wattage, and if you're using the bigger bulbs, you need to be quite far away from the plants. Like if I had those Jungle Dawns over these boxes, it would just be too powerful for the plants. So you've kind of got to adjust what you're growing to your lighting. So obviously the grow lights I've got at the bottom, which are the LEDs. These ones, they're growing like my ferns and stuff like that like it like slightly lower light. So we've got ferns and whatnot growing in here. Sorry, oh, it is. Sweating.
Again, just bear with Adam. The signal's not going to be great in a fully insulated garage.
Oh, have I gone off?
No, jitter in my end. I don't. Is it the same for you, Charlie?
Yeah. Slow
I
motion.
can go back upstairs.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think we are. If you want to see what Micro Exotics plant range is, go check out their website. Trust me, it is pretty extensive. Again, River Darling, if you look at the scrolling words across the bottom of the screen, you'll discover Scott's Inverts in capital letters is your discount code for 20% off their whole site.
I think I'm going to regret that.
And Chris is just showing you exactly where you put it in. Because he's super duper.
Do you have t-shirts on your site now, Adam?
No, because I give them all to you.
Yeah, I thought so.
Adam, I'll tell you, every time he comes on a stream, he is literally repping Micro Exotics.
And everywhere he goes, he wears that to the supermarket.
That would not surprise me. I think he's got a picture. I think he's got a picture of you by the side of his bed and another one in his wallet.
I don't think he takes.
I put it down actually. I moved that picture. So
Jackie says, "Who needs a sauna when you have an insulated garage?" Anton says, "I'm going to order some shit when I get paid." Nice one, Anton. I want to know if Phil's ordered anything. Because he's not. I know he's just not going to be able to resist, and I know he's going to get something special in it.
Craig,
well, I think Phil told me that he used the 20% discount on Cubaris the other week. Phil told me
I did a sale the other week. I think it was a Sunday after the show, and Phil dropped quite a large sum that day, I believe.
Phil said he's got Micro Exotics t-shirt. He said his mum's very jealous.
Phil's been really good. He's
well,
done a lot of unboxing videos and stuff for me. And I haven't sent him anything special because he's doing an unboxing video. But he's always been so enthusiastic when he's been opening. He always comes over, talks to me at the shows. He's a really nice, really down to earth guy. And the first live stream I ever did actually was over on Phil's channel. Which was quite cool because I hadn't done one before. So,
if you remember, he had the £50 mystery box off, and I had the £31 one. It was quite near the very end of the show, and his £50 mystery box was like, oh my god,
yeah,
it was awesome.
When I get to the end of the show, normally I just start chucking. I don't like taking it home. I just start chucking it in bags. So if you're at a show, come see us at the end because that's when you're going to get the best stuff, best prices.
Phil said I might be on the website with something in my basket.
I have actually. I've got something to put up tomorrow, which I'm quite chuffed with. Where have I put them? I've got some pygmy wood scorpions. Now I've struggled with them a few times when I took them off Mum's back too early. I've left them in with Mum. She's eaten them all. I think this time we've actually cracked it, and they seem to all be doing really well. And they've had a molt. Let's see if we can try and show you the size of one of the babies here.
What did you order, Critter, then?
Been shopping with Micro for years. Quality has always been on point. Jeremy's Wild World. He has, hasn't he, Jezza?
Yeah, Jerry's been one of my regulars from the very beginning.
Jez is also one of the first that started putting the isopods out there. These are nice. And it was Jeremy and a lad called Ben Butler that kind of showed me them probably about 4 years ago now.
You see him there?
Yeah, tiny little fella.
Tiny little scorpion. So you've got a few of these to go on the site next week. If anyone's interested, I know I get quite asked about these quite a lot. So they're not well caught, which is fantastic.
Make sure you check out the spider section as well.
Yeah,
It's a £50 mystery box. Can't resist the mystery box. I can't when I'm paid.
Anton, no, poison is ingested. So provided you weren't putting them on your snakes, but even then, the snake wouldn't ingest one. So no. If that was the case, there would be.
Well. You clean your hands before you touch your snakes anyway. You should be fine.
And the pink dragons definitely are not the most handleable species. They're quite small. Yeah, and also the pink dragons. I've never had one auto hemorrhage or put anything on me, and I've kept them. I used to keep them for a very long time.
Yeah, but you say never, and there's always that one.
Of course.
Yeah, of course there is, yeah.
It's a good example when I go into Lewis's house. He has that LP which they take to shows and everybody handles, and it's a really calm tea. I was handling it, and it was completely fine. And we gave it to Devil to handle, and as soon as we put that into her hands, she decided to flick hairs towards her face.
Oh wow!
Luckily, I put my hand in front of it quickly, but it's just the fact that there's always that one time when something's going to go wrong.
Leah is still looking for more entries for her competition for tomorrow evening, which is she's running a competition where you can impersonate your favorite YouTubers and send her the video. And
so if I send her a video of myself, because I'm my favorite YouTuber. Does that work?
I am Chris. I am Transylvanian vampire invert keeper. Blah blah blah.
Do you keep leeches, Chris?
No.
You're missing a trick.
Have you got leeches in, Adam?
No, I haven't got fucking leeches. No.
What trick?
I like my blood in my body.
Nothing wrong with the H. verbena, the medical leech. I kept 2 of those for 2 years. Lovely creatures. You only feed them once, twice a year.
Was that millipedes?
No, the leeches.
Leeches, yeah. Still.
Well, I might have to get a couple more, you know. All to their own, dude. All to their own.
Yeah.
If you go on the Leech Gang Facebook group, I'm actually admin to that one. There's a lady called Marie. She sells the verbena and the buffalo leeches. They're the big, massive things. Literally look like they'll latch onto you and there'll be nothing left by the time they're finished.
There's a question from Anton following the millipede question.
I just mean like the poo they have. Is it in the air? Would they be sound in? Can you keep those in the same room as his snakes? Is what he's saying, or would there be an adverse effect to his snakes?
No, I think they'll be fine. Some millipede species can secrete cyanide. It's a defensive measure. Some species will leave like a bright stain on your hand. Like I've got one.
Put your link in chat, Leo.
like a bright pink stain on your hand. Obviously, wash your hands before you go touch anything else. Don't lick your fingers, and don't try to eat the millipede, and you should be fine.
Yeah.
Common sense dictates really that don't ingest cyanide and you'll be all right.
Yeah, so the yellow stain, I believe, is auto hemorrhage, which is actually most of the time is millipedes pushing their blood out of their body, and locusts also do it, and various species of crickets. And also, I believe there is a species of, I'm not sure whether it's frog or lizard, that auto hemorrhages out of its eyes.
Yeah, it's a lizard.
That's it.
The thorny toad can do that. Was it the Australian thorny devil can shoot blood out of their eyes?
Yeah.
It's a defensive measure.
Yeah, auto hemorrhaging or reflex bleeding is what it's called.
Yes, my God.
Jeremy, if you are going to eat one of your millipedes, please film it so we can document it for scientific purposes.
Please put it into your tea set and make yourself a millipede cup of tea. Don't do that, by the way, everybody. For God's sake.
We had a barbecue here a few weeks ago, and I had all the kids up in here having a look at the millipedes, and they're all sat around the tub on the floor. 3 of them, they all had one each in their hand, and then the littlest one came in, and I went to give her one, and literally I put it in her hand, and she just went, "That's a no to fucking eat it."
Both more Noah would definitely do that. 100%.
I want to know what Phil has got in his basket.
If he's walked away, I can check.
Well,
oh, I need to more.
Okay. I might be shooting myself in the foot having left this 20% on for this. Crikey.
Sorry, not sorry.
Right on. That was definitely worth coming on the live stream this evening, chaps.
Steve just put £5. Steve W Exotics, personal friend as well as subscribers, just put a $5 on the chat and says, "Hi everyone, can't stay, really busy at work, just popped on to say hi and show support. He'll be watching Leah's live tomorrow evening." Steve's a firefighter at one of the military bases, so he tends to be exceptionally busy, even when you think even when nothing's happening, he can be extremely busy.
Hi, Steve.
Have you had a few orders come through then?
Yes, yeah, quite a few.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as Micro Exotics say 20% off, you kind of opened it all.
I might shut the shop for the rest of the week.
Going to Epic, Scott's a wanker for draining my bank account, says Phil. Sorry, Phil. I pre-warned him. I actually pre-warned him in the WhatsApp group. I posted the link because we've got Scott's Inverts Community Plus WhatsApp group now. So I posted the link into the live stream chat, and Phil was like, "Oh, nice." I says, "Yeah, 20% discount code tonight, Phil. So I do apologise for breaking your bank." And he just called me a bastard. That was as simple as that.
There's a big question on the screen from BH.
Armadillium maculatum.
So Bastian says Armadillium maculatum, Cubaris rubiducus, Cubaris amberducky. 3 tips and tricks to keep and breeder.
Stable temperature, number 1. I think that's probably the most important thing when dealing with Asian species or tropical species is having a stable temperature. You don't need a nighttime drop or anything like that. Just as stable as possible, really. And they seem to do a lot better. A deeper substrate, so sort of 2 inches is ideal for Cubaris, and the addition of limestone in whatever form you want to give it. I always used to use some solid limestone rock that I was buying. The problem with that is it is heavier. It's a lot heavier, and they like to get underneath it. And obviously, you pick the rock up, have a look, and you'll put it back down. Strong chance over the course of a year you will squash a few. And when you've only got 5 or 6 to start a colony, squashing one is 20% of your entire colony. So be very careful when picking up cork bark or rocks. The amount of times I've picked up a piece of cork bark and there's been one just on the very side of it and I've squeezed it and you've only squashed it enough to damage it. So just be very careful when picking up bark and rocks and stuff like that in the enclosures. That's probably like 3 of my top tips, because I have killed, unfortunately, a few by squashing them. It's not from not being careful, it's just purely the amount I've got and the amount of times I'm going in these tubs to box stuff up. It's just law of averages. It does happen sometimes, but I stress try and be as careful as possible.
I think we've probably all made the same mistake.
I'd be
I
surprised.
think we all made that mistake.
Yeah. And you always feel bad. You always feel terrible. You're like, especially when it's a really expensive one. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. Thankfully, I've never done that with an expensive
Thank
one.
you, Steve. Yeah, sorry. If you guys could all like the stream as well, it kind of lets us know that we're going down the right path and doing the right type of stuff. That'd be pretty damn cool. I need more limestone, says Bastion.
So we've got 2 for rocking at the moment, which is, like I said, it's a better limestone. It's lighter. It breaks apart a lot easier. If you really want, you can just smack it with a hammer and crumble it all over the surface, and they'll sit on it and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good stuff.
How do you rate bird grit?
Bird grit's it's good. You can mix it in with a substrate. You can actually see. I don't know. Oh my god, my website's going crazy. I might have to... Sorry. All I'm going to tell you is I'm going to have steak dinner.
No, Craig.
What was I about to say? So, right, yeah. In terms of calcium consumption with isopods. Now, this is something I'll show you because I find it fascinating. This is a solid cuttlefish. Yeah, you can see it's convex. It comes out. All right, that's your cuttlefish. Quite thick, isn't it? Still. Now, leave it in with the isopods for a little while.
Put my driving license and insurance number, didn't I? That job's wicked.
Yeah, so cool, I think.
Okay. Oh, go on.
Oh man,
The giggle of regret, says Charlotte.
It's too efficient.
Aaron's cat's chilling on his Xbox.
Oh, here we go. So they will actually hollow out
the
entire piece. That's how important calcium is in their diet. You can see, look, that's thick, and all they leave that's left is that membrane on the back, that hard membrane, and they've just completely hollowed it out. And they will do that really quickly, but it just shows you how important calcium is as in their diet, is in how much of it is eaten or consumed. Especially when you've got large colonies, they rinse through it.
Well, it's really important with the shedding molting process, obviously, to develop new hard exoskeleton.
Anything that's got an exoskeleton.
Leah, Tara's just gone to bed. It's that time of the month, and every time it is, it really, really affects her quite badly. Bless her.
Bastion says crushing of lifetime is genius.
Bastion also just said sometimes they throw a snake skin in there, and yeah, you're absolutely right. The belly scales. The reason why they don't eat the belly scales,
Yeah, because they're munching tarantula molt as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they're a lot harder, the belly scales. So obviously because they're going along the ground all the time, belly scales of snakes tend to be a lot harder. And the dorsal scales of snakes are a lot more sensitive because obviously prey comes from the top. That's why if you grab a snake from the top, it can react defensively a lot of the time.
What roaches have you got at the moment? Adam, have you got any on the site, or
Yeah, we've got.
you just building up colonies?
We've got a few on the site. We've got emerald roaches up on the site at the moment. We've got quite a decent colony of those. I've got sapphire roaches. Yasmanati. I can't quite. The Latin's on the website. They're sapphire roaches. I can't quite pronounce the word. Really cool, but they're very small, and they only show the blue for the adult stage. So the final molt. They don't live very long after that. You're talking maybe 3 or 4 months, and then they belly up. But they breed really well. I've got question mark roaches, I've got domino roaches, I've got black emerald roaches, I've got pygmy black emerald roaches, I've got rhino roaches, which are really fucking cool. I don't know if anyone's seen those before. Those are the largest, biggest cockroach in the world. Those are really, I've got a subadult pair of those, but they're very slow, very slow breeders. They can take 5 years to reach maturity, or 5 or 6 years to reach maturity, and then the babies have to stay with the mum for almost a year, I believe. So it's a real big process.
Wow.
They're not cheap either. I think they're like £250 a pair, which for cockroaches is fucking steep, you know.
Can I quickly share Phil show's details while we're here later?
Of course you can.
Yeah.
Adam, any chance we could see the rhino roaches?
Yeah, bear with me because I can't remember what tab they're in.
Oh, just while you're doing that, we'll get Phil's show up then.
Yeah, just a quick reminder to everybody that there's going to be a show in Mildenhall, which is a brand new one. It's on the 4th of the 11th.
Which is a Saturday.
Which is absolutely bang on.
Yeah, I think so too.
Make sure you visit this show, and if you wear a fancy dress, you'll get the £1 discount on entry.
Which is in Middenhall, and that is IP287HG. So just if you watch on your phone, just take a quick screenshot, and then you have it there ready. There's also going to be a reptile display, which you don't see in the normal invert shows. Which we're really excited about going to see. Actually, I am very. But there's just going to be a lot of cool people there as well. I know.
Sure you share it out because a lot of people are not aware that this show is happening.
Spa Spiders is going to be there.
Yeah, we need to get
the Luke and Daddy Spa. The Matt Tarantula Rookie has bought a table for all the YouTubers to go and kind of meet people at as well. So you'll be able to come and say hello to your favourite ones that are there.
What's that?
Wow.
This is a
rhino beetle. Roach.
I want some.
That's huge.
Yeah, this subadult as well. So they've got another molt to go for hitting the dog.
Are you selling some of them?
No, I haven't got any. I've just got a subadult pair. I say even if they were to breed tomorrow, you wouldn't be seeing babies for another 12 months.
Bastard.
It's such a long process for them to.
Chris likes his roaches.
They are gorgeous.
What I will do,
how much?
Is I'll send you the link where I bought them from if you want.
Oh yes, please.
How much were they, Adam? If you don't mind me asking. You don't. Please don't feel any pressure in answering that.
They were 250 for a pair.
Wow.
250.
Yeah, and that's a subadult pair as well. So that's not even a mature pair.
That's wild.
Wow.
I believe you probably can find them a bit cheaper, but I don't think you're going to find them for less than 200 a pair. Anywhere, even over in Europe. I don't think. It's just the slow breeding of them. You know, you have 5 to 6 years to hit maturity, and then 12 months, and they will only have 12 or so babies, I believe, a dozen or so babies at
6
time.
years.
So by the 7th year, you might produce 12. So you can understand why they're costly, and they're very maternal. They will raise the babies in a burrow for up to 12 months. So really cool. They're a bit more of like like everyone. We've all got bits at home, like a personal project. So.
Small
have you got everything on your website that let's say if somebody's watching, they're thinking, okay, so I want to get into isopods. So there's probably a couple of questions that you could all answer in one now. What would be like your top 3 beginner species? Can we see them? And then do you supply everything they need to live on your website, including those containers and the 3D printed vents?
Yes, the 3D printed vents, yes. The containers, I will be doing Braplast starter kits. I keep saying next week, but I'll be straight up honest with you. The website keeps getting busier and busier every week, and the
I was
day
about
I have
to say you
free
need
to
to
do
start
this
it.
stuff. So either Charlie needs to move to Cornwall and come work for me full time, or I might have to look at maybe getting someone in for a day or two to help out. But yes, so
Chris,
starter
I could
kits
drive that
definitely going all the time on site too. My 3 best species for beginners: Armadillidium maculatum. So your zebras. Everybody loves the zebras. They're one of the first ones I started out with. They're not super prolific, but they still look cool enough to be not a garden wood lice. They do well in a wide range of temperatures. If you have a bioactive setup and you're keeping like poison dart frogs, or you just want a cool woodlice species that's not mega invasive, dwarf purple are one of my favorites. I think Trichomestan species. There isn't actually a full scientific name for them. They're a small Peruvian species, micro species. They live in the soil and they break down all the waste. They're brilliant, but they're not invasive like dwarf whites or some of the other smaller species. And then if you want a cool starter species that I think everyone just likes, Armadillidium klugi.
I was just about to say,
They come in quite a few different colours. They're very easy to look after. You can't go wrong starting out with Armadillidium. I think when you move into Porcellio and Cubaris, you move in 2 different directions. Cubaris is wet. Porcellio is dry, essentially. There's a medium between it, but keeping some of the larger, like Greek and Spanish species, Expansus, Magnificus, Hoffmannseggi, Succintus, there's quite a few.
Can we have another look at the Expansius? Because they are
Yes,
just,
yeah.
everybody's going mad for Millenio and Selenio, but these guys are
Spatulatus
absolutely
are also quite like
gorgeous.
Spatulatus is another good one, yeah.
I think what he was about to allude on that was that they like it quite dry and they can be a little bit more challenging to get breeding and also keeping in general.
Also, some of them are seasonal. So, like Porcellio werneri is a seasonal breeder. So you'll only see a brood once a year. So you could buy them at the tail end of that, and then you could be like, "Oh my god, I've had these for a year and they've done nothing," and then all of a sudden, boom, you've got loads. But there's a real balance between. This is a tip, actually. It's a tip I learned early on when keeping Porcellio species. Is I do not spray my Porcellio enclosures for the drier Mediterranean stuff. Things like Levis and Scaba, they like it a little bit wetter. But like so, Magnificus, Hoffmannseggi, stuff like that. I put water directly into the substrate. I do not spray because it's the air humidity that kills them. So by adding water directly into just one corner, it soaks down into the tub. It's in the corner, and it just keeps this one corner wet enough, and they'll go there when they need that extra humidity. And I found that's the best way to do it. By spraying, you can actually kill them. So
I think my understanding is that isopods need the moisture to breathe, essentially, because their book lungs are underneath them, and it keeps them hydrated. And
There they are. Beautiful.
I've got an escapee.
How many times do you go into that room and find the odd isopod running across the floor?
I've got some very healthy native spiders in there.
I got you. How do you tell? This is like a personal question more than anything, to be honest. How do you tell the difference between male and female? How do you tell when your female isopod is actually gravid? Or do you literally just go, or do you just put them all together and hope that they, get it on?
Depends on species. Like the Porcellio, again, are quite easy to tell because a lot of them have like sexual dimorphization. So you can actually see the difference between a male and a female. The male is bigger, it's got long uropods at the back, and it's even easier when you've got two.
Hold on a minute, what's the uropods?
So the two little like antenna things that come out their arse, antenna looking things. They're not antennas, but
not everybody in the chat's going to know. Like,
So on the back of the isopod, you've got these
Terminal
two
legs.
protrusions. On a male, they tend to be quite long. On a female, they tend to be quite short. There are lots of other ways of looking underneath. You can actually see the sexual organs. I find the easiest way to look for a gravid female. So obviously, I get asked this question quite a lot. Like, oh, is this isopod eggs in my enclosure? They're live bearing. So think of them a little bit like a kangaroo. Have an organ on the base called a marsupium underneath them, and that's where they will carry the fertilized eggs, and they'll hatch the fertilized eggs on their chest essentially until they're ready to drop off. Now I don't know how many of you have picked up a native wood lice, put it in your hand, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh fuck, it's had all these babies in my hand. That's like a stress response. They think they're going to get eaten, and they just go, oh fuck. Go babies, go, try and live. So try not to handle gravid females, but you can see it. What I would do is I'd put like 10 in a clear tub, and then just look underneath it, and you can see the big yellow marsupium on a gravid wood lice easy, on a gravid isopod easy.
One thing
Cheers,
I'd say probably on the while you're sort of Scott, you're covering the topic of starter wood lice and stuff like that, is that a lot of the time, especially species like dairy cows or species that are quite protein hungry, it's not always a good idea to have them with other animals, tarantulas, scorpions, things like that, because while they're molting, they will devour a tarantula. If anyone here has a isopod colony like dairy cows, if you also keep tarantulas and you have live food, if you cut a mealworm or even pre-crush a roach, you will see the dairy cows absolutely savage it.
That's it.
If you drop it in, they will hunt it like a
Not
pack of
isopod
hyenas,
dreams.
and they will tear it apart. So they're super protein hungry. So although it's nice to have lots of different animals in enclosure and bioactivity, like Adam said, keeping dwarf species or even white sharks would be a lot better because they're a lot less protein hungry. They like to eat leaves and lots of calcium and things like that, and less protein hungry than Porcellio, stuff like that. And your tarantula will just disappear and you will think it's escaped, but it will be gone. There will be nothing left.
Whilst Charlie's on that, actually, we'll just talk a little bit about feeding protein. So I get asked a lot, like, oh, my tank's gone mouldy. You're feeding too much. What I do here is take me a little while to work it out. There are certain vegetables that don't mould as fast. So my go-to vegetable is butternut squash. And if you cut it in a certain way, you can be left with loads of pieces that still have the skin attached. So you've got like a bit of flesh with the skin on the back. If you put the skin face down, skin side down on the substrate, it won't mold as quick because it takes longer for the bacteria or whatnot to get through to it. So butternut squash is brilliant for feeding. And in terms of protein, like less is more. If you've got a small colony and you're chucking in like an entire dried fish, they're not even going to eat its fucking eye. Like you need less is more with them. I would start out, put a little bit in. If there's still some left after 48 hours, don't put as much in next week, and just work it. And another thing, like look at your animals. If you've got a dry end of an enclosure and a wet end of the enclosure, and your isopods are always at the dry end, your enclosure is probably a little bit too wet down the wet end, and vice versa. So your animals are the biggest indicator of setup. So always just look at what they're doing. If they're all clustered one end or one particular area, why are they all clustered in that area?
I got a fantastic example of that.
Yeah, go for it, man.
So recently, I think last year, I actually managed to get some Androniscus dentiger, which are a native species of red woodlouse in the UK. They're not very common. You won't find them a lot at all, and I've only seen them once in my life in this one location. And my mum was gardening there, and she was basically taking out the garden. So I took some of these and tried to raise them in captivity. I only spoke to Dubia Paul, and he hadn't managed it. So I tried to do it. And my first attempt was really bad. Like they were always down in one corner of the bioplast, and that corner was the corner that was wet. And eventually, I didn't quite realize it until it was too late, but eventually they all died out. On my second attempt, I decided I would keep it how I found them, which makes sense really. And where I found them was under soggy bits of cardboard and bits of moss. Like, unlike I've kept isopods before, it was really quite just dirty, really. But that's how they like it. They like it super moist.
It's about how you like it at all, Charlie.
Exactly, super moist. So, so Angela's Castentiger, they like it super moist. I know Jeremy has
Dirty,
his
soggy and moist.
God. So anyway, so that's that topic.
It's after 9.
Just a normal Tuesday. Just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah.
You want Jez activate now?
Yeah, just gonna be in the chat.
He's sitting there drinking a cup of tea, just laughing it all up.
And Anton, in Anton's way, has said, I have a shit ton of orange ones. Breeding at the minute, don't know what they are, but they're orange and breeding like fuck. I had 10, probably about 40 now, and about the same in tiny babies.
Yeah, some are very, very prolific.
Something.
It doesn't take long to get overrun with certain species. I mean, this tub needs an upgrade for sure, and that's all frass in there. When I put the substrate in originally, it's probably about that deep, so that's all. That's bullshit. The problem with isopod poop is it's hydrophobic. So as it builds up in the tank or in the enclosure, and you try and moisten one side of the enclosure, what happens is it doesn't absorb water anymore. It just repels it. So it will just seep through until it gets back down to the bottom. So it can be problematic and build up too much. But if anyone grows plants, it's a fantastic plant fertilizer. But this
As
is like,
said, with his isopods, every now and again he's finding mushrooms growing in with the isopod enclosures. Is that all right? Or
it's pretty normal. A lot of the stuff that we're using in the isopod enclosures, moss from the outside, wood from the outside, rotting wood from the outside, which is rotten because fungus has rotten it. So yeah, it's very, very normal to find fungus. What I would do is just pick out what they call it, the fruiting body, before it has a chance to spore. So if you see, it looks like a dick basically growing out of the soil 9 times out of 10. Just pop it out, throw it away before it grows and fans out, and then drops the spores and allows the cycle to continue. Once it's dropped its spores once, you're probably never going to get rid of the mushrooms in there.
That's interesting. You said that because I always left them in there, and when they fall over and start decomposing, the isopods would eat it. But then I guess if you don't want loads of mushrooms in your isopod,
you don't want it to perpetuate. You want to stop it before sporing. So I don't know if anyone's ever been magic mushroom picking. You want to tap the mushroom before you pick it so that they will be there again next year. So
you mean mushroom picking?
Many moons ago. Many moons ago.
But yeah, so it's not harmful. It's not harmful at all. It can be. I will point this out. If you've got other animals, things like vertebrates, so lizards or snakes or stuff like that, and you've got a heavy mushroom problem in your tank, or not problem, you've got a lot of mushrooms, there can be respiratory implications. It's in an enclosed environment. You've got all those mushroom spores. So I would think about trying to reduce that if you've got snakes, lizards, that kind of stuff living in an enclosed environment. If it's well ventilated, you've got a mesh lid on it, then it's not going to be an issue. But for really high humidity species where you've got a lot of ventilation, it perhaps can be an issue.
Let me just expand on that. Paul Grams, who was in earlier, I know Sam really well. Been close friends with him now for nearly 5 years, maybe. There was a period of his life where he was having a lot of chest pains and he couldn't work out where it was coming from. And we kept saying, look, mate, you need to go to the doctors. And what it equated to was an enclosure that he kept near his bed that actually had these mushrooms in it. He got rid of the mushrooms, moved the enclosure, the chest pains and the chest issues went away. So if you are sensitive chest-wise, it's best to get rid of these mushrooms as soon as you see them, full stop. At the end of the day, lots of species of mushroom, I don't know them all. The yellow one growing in a container could be anything. So what I tend to do is I've got my own little mushroom picking tweezers, so I just use those just purely for the mushrooms and just and pick them out. Like you said, Alden, literally when they look like a cock, get in there, pull them out, jobs on. And if you're like susceptible to asthma, then when they come into what's known as like a flowering period, you know, it could possibly affect your lungs. So I personally, as soon as you see them, get rid of them, job done.
I guess that's the difference as well between like myself and you two. Like I would tend to leave them alone, but you two are quite good at pulling cocks, so that's probably...
Just them little ones.
That's why I've grown the beard, so I never miss a drop. Jeremy. Jeremy says, great live as always, dude. I'm off to bed. There's another full day of uni lectures tomorrow. Take care all. Really looking forward to his mystery box. Thank you, Jezza, for joining him and popping along. And yeah, good luck with uni tomorrow, dude. But I know Jezza, he's going to smash uni, man.
I need to go to the charity shop before I send yours out first, mate. Get your new tea set, I reckon.
That would be absolutely hilarious. A little play plastic tea set in a mystery box.
No, really good one. Something like the Queen's face on a plate. You know, something really like.
Oh, mate, we were ripping him in the WhatsApp chat ages ago. He takes it on the chin, and because he's not very tall, he was in the garden, and he spun round as a plastic dollhouse, and he was saying, "No, the plastic dollhouse isn't for me. It hides this massive tree trunk, which it does." But my God, you know, as soon as he did the tea set thing, as well as it was like, yeah, you got the plastic tea set that you take into the little doll's house you got in the garden, right? Is it who do you keep piranhas micro? Do you keep any fish, Adam, or is it just literally the inverts?
I got a fighting fish named Steve down in the living room.
Well, beta.
Yeah.
Do you know what
Morph likes to call him? My daughter calls him a punching fish.
Do you know what morph it is, or?
It's a red one.
The red one.
Yeah, she picked him out of the aquarium. There was loads. She picked him out. So it's her fish. And she also named him Steve, which is
Night, Amy.
Odd name for a punching fish.
Night, Amy. Leah's just getting out of the bath, so she'll be right back. How often do you need to change the substrate? That's a bloody good question, Stu.
That's a good question.
No, I've got some species I've probably not changed the substrate for a year. I never change the entire tub in one go. What I will tend to do is try to scrape off the top centimetre or so into a tub, because that's where mostly everything is. I will then carefully take out half of the substrate, and it's normally what happens is, because I said that frass is hydrophobic, it becomes really hard to get the wet side wet again, and that's when I kind of know it's probably time to change some of this substrate. So I take out the half that is going to be the new wet side, take it out, and then I'll refill it with fresh substrate. I'm careful then. The stuff that I've taken out, I'll normally put into another tub, and I'll, over a course of like a week or two, I'll just keep checking. I'll put a bit of food in, keep checking that tub, see if there's any in there that I missed, throw them into the new tub, and I'll just change half. And then obviously next time I do a change, I will change the other half. I'll never change the full tub at once. Lots of people do it differently. That's just how I do it. I like to change half the tub at once. There's nothing worse, and I've done this a few times, than starting a species out in a small tank and like an expensive species, and you do really well with it in this particular setup that you've got. You then set up a bigger tank for it, you move them all over, and they all fucking die. So that has happened to me a few times, and I hate moving stuff from one enclosure where it's doing well to another. Hate it.
I've got that problem at the moment. I've got pink Lambos. I had 6, and they had the babies. Then they had another lot of babies, and they're in a little tub. And I'm like, I really need to move you guys, but if I do, I know what's going to happen to all those babies. Hey, Osman, they're literally
I would
just
take the adults out. I would set a new tub up, take the adults out, move the adults over, leave the babies in the small tub till they're bigger, then move them out.
So I started off with 6 adults, and now I'm down to 2.
Yeah, they're quite difficult. All the Marinella are quite.
They kind of had the babies, and then
I've had some Marinella that I bought, and they've had babies. And I thought doing really well, and then all of a sudden they've all just disappeared. Slowly, one by one, they've died off, and I don't know what's happened to the babies.
Similar to Cubaris, I've had that with.
Yeah, it does happen, and it's a pain in the arse. But you just need to change something and maybe try again. That's all I can suggest. With Marinella, I think what I've learned personally is cross ventilation is really important for Marinella. I didn't do it before. I've tried lots of iterations of different tubs to get how I wanted it, and then I was working with Tom at Exotic Empire, and we worked on the vents that we've been making. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen, are really fucking cool. Let me just find one.
So I have a theory with the. I'll let you show these off first.
So you literally drill 48mm hole into the enclosure, and the vent is two parts. You've got the vent itself, which is too fine a mesh for anything to get out of. If you still don't trust it, you could get a piece of fly screen and put that in as well, and then you literally put one side through the enclosure, the other side the back, and it just screws through the hole, and you've got this cracking vent, and you can do that to any plastic tub.
I was just thinking they'd be good for the spiders as well.
Yeah.
How much are you selling those for?
If you want some, let me know, because I haven't got many in stock at the moment. The guy that 3D prints them for me has had a problem with his printer, but I've got more coming soon.
Do you have your 3D printer file?
No, it's not my file. It's the guy I've been working with, and I'll be straight up honest with you because he's a great guy. It's Tom from Exotic Empire. So if you want the vents and you want to get them for a better price than you get them from me, go over to Tom at Exotic Empire.
Send me some pictures. I'll sort you out.
He's brilliant at making these, and we sent them back and forth. He kept sending me samples, and I said, "Well, try this, make this wider," and we come to a happy sort of medium at the end. And this is the finished product. And it took about a year or so of designing it and printing it and getting the right one. I see there's a lot more people doing it now. There's a lot of different iterations, but I really like this one. It looks neat. Quite happy with it. But yeah, if you want to get them really good, go and see Tom at Exotic Empire. I'm not going to steal his product or anything like that. I sell his product on my website. It's great. But if you want a better deal, go and see Tom.
I think that's very admirable of you to say so. But I think those type of comments from a seller makes you realise that Adam is a good seller and a good supplier full stop.
Yeah, I'm not here to rob anyone. I'm here just so I haven't got to go work anymore.
Living the dream, literally.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Although I'm currently sweating down my leg. I can feel it.
Is there any other isopods that you've got behind you that you'd like to get and show us? Or any more of the roaches? Yeah. If you get some roaches out, Chris will get a semi for sure.
What I'll do is I'll bring the box down, and when you look at the box, you'll understand why I'm not going to open the lid.
Yeah, no, we get you already. I understand that already.
Can you see it?
No. Oh, yes.
At the moment, they're contained in there. As soon as I open the lid, I'm going to get swarmed by fungus gnats. I don't know if you can actually see how many are in there flying around.
Yeah.
And
they do love.
Get these fly traps because you can put them on top of the ceiling, and when they fly out, they're just going to stuck or on the wall.
Hold on, Chris. Adam, I'm just going to swap you with Chris because these are pretty epic.
They are good, mate.
I will try some of those. You have to send me the link after this, and I'll get some.
Yeah, I've just got some. I'll ping it through as well. You could, obviously, it would be a risk. I've just put a few of these up. I would actually feel confident enough sticking these to a lid of an enclosure. It's risky.
I don't like the idea of that, but I will stick more up in the room.
Yeah,
that's
they're
just
good
me.
on windows as well.
You imagine it falling off in the night and the entire fucking colony.
They won't fall off, but
there you go,
dude. If you'd just seen the one I've taken off my wall a minute ago, it was about A4 size, and it was black. The whole fucking thing was black.
Yeah, but
Right,
That's how my electric zapper looks at the moment.
I use them in my roach bins. Every single roach bin has
okay,
a big
right. I've not emptied
circle
this
around them.
in a few days.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hanging. Oh, the cunts are still alive. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. All that protein. Get. You need a fungus gnat soup.
yeah.
yeah, they're horrible. They're horrible. But if you keep
These traps
isopods
are brilliant
or
'cause they don't
spiders,
come off.
you will
I
end
used
up.
them in my roach bins so far, and it's been saving grace for all the stupid flies.
I'm quite
Good.
thankful keeping all these baboon species. I keep most of my stuff quite dry, so I'm assuming that I won't have this problem in the future. But we will see. I used to get them terribly when I used to keep a lot of isopods.
The problem is with the feeders. If the feeders die, they go in those bins. And
To
Chris,
be
I'm
honest,
just going to
Bastian.
pop the toilet if you wouldn't mind holding for.
yeah, fuck.
To be honest, Bastian,
Fuck
like
up.
Adam said, I wouldn't actually put them in an enclosure, but I would be quite confident that there wouldn't be anything bad happening. But there's always that one time.
Yeah, but
They are very elusive.
even with that, you can use an extra glue or anything. Just put them on top of the ceiling in enclosure.
For sure.
Just extra tape, and it will be fine. And will get caught up. And these ones are really sticky. Well,
They are really sticky. Yeah. Adam, I was actually going to say, when you were talking about cross ventilation and stuff like that, I have a theory that Nicole Louise actually has almost like I've seen some pictures of her enclosures briefly, and I think for the tire spikies and some Marilynella, she uses full just mesh lids, so it's super ventilated.
Super vented, and you just need to make
I have
sure
that
you're
theory on top of spraying. Yeah, that's my
She's
theory.
cracked the code for sure.
Definitely.
I'm not going to say a bad thing about her because she's doing she's breeding some stuff that no one else has got, and that's how we get new stuff in the hobby. So hats off to her.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
just
See
me and
you
you.
later, Richard. No, Chris is here for now.
I am here.
It's the takeover.
Yeah,
Take over, Scott.
Yeah, right. We get rid of Scott because we don't fucking need him. That's
There you
problem
go.
solved.
Chris is in control.
This channel is much better now because we got rid of the fake beard wanker. Right.
Scott had a beard transplant, basically, Adam. That's why we said.
No,
You know
he's
what?
on
I'm on the NHS for one of them at the moment.
I can tell you
I've been on the list for about 17 years.
No, what else? What other roaches you keep?
Not a huge amount.
He's got Pseudoglomerus magnifica as well.
Tarsalis are nice, which again they're like. Oh, actually, you can see them just back there. So they're like they're the same genus as emerald roaches, but they're black, a little bit more elongated.
Oh.
Quite nice. So yeah, and then I've got a dwarf species of those as well. Chrome roaches. I've got death's head roaches. I've got burrowing roaches.
I have them. Death heads are awesome.
Yeah, death's head's a really cool roach. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, just I've got quite a few bits really. I've just in the process at the moment of getting something that I've always wanted to get, which is a leaf cutter ant colony, which I'm super excited about. It's established. It's a really good price. A friend of mine's building me a custom three-piece tank for it with tubes connecting, and it's going to go down on my workspace downstairs in the plant room.
I know we spoke about that previously.
Always wanted leaf cutter ants, so I'm quite looking forward to that. That's sort of hopefully something we can pull off.
We have a garden centre nearby called Hollybush Garden Centre, and they have a leaf cutter ant colony. And what they've done is they've run a tubing all the way through the shop, so you can literally see the ants all the way running. It's
So
walking
That's
around.
awesome. Yeah, I'd like to do something like that and take it, from one side of the room to the other. But
Yeah,
from what I understand is as the colony grows, you can slowly move them further. I'm not an ant expert. I've only kept a few species of ants, but there's something I've always wanted. I've done a lot of research into keeping these over a long period of time because I've always wanted them. I'm not going for the acromics or something like that. They're a smaller version of the leafcutter ants whose colony doesn't reach like 12 million individuals. So I'm hopefully not ever going to have to give it to a zoo or something like that. So,
well, you could always cut down on food and the
well, I
population
could
goes
get
down
some
a bit.
kind of ant-eating
Predator, yeah.
reptile amphibian, poison dart frogs. Oh, they'd fucking love them, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but at the same time, as far as I'm aware, watching Ants Canada and so on, if you cut down on food, that means slower reproduction as well. So
Yeah, I've watched it. He's a really cool channel, isn't it? Ants Canada. I've seen a few of those videos. Yeah, that's awesome.
I think most of the people have, because he's a bit of a funny guy, but yeah. The knowledge what he has is brilliant.
I actually spoke to a guy at the last show. Which one was it? Not Bristol?
Yeah, last one was.
Thank you, Phil.
Last one was Bedford.
Bedford, sorry, yeah. Bedford show. He came up to me because he saw I had Micro Exotics t-shirt on, and we were chatting about ants and stuff. I've been really tempted now. I have a bigger space to get a colony, but I think I would get something like Mesa barbarus or something with the big polymorphic workers and it's really slow. Because
the honeypot ants I picked up.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
because I said, "Oh yeah, they have some," and then you went and grabbed some, and came back with them.
Yeah. No, she's doing really well. She's got, I don't know, I think about 20 workers in there. I've seen now, so pretty good brood. Yeah, well, I think I'm looking at getting her a bit more of a nice enclosure. The same thing as downstairs. I'm going to have them up here on the desk.
Cool. So you can kind of look at them.
Yeah, I think my daughter will really like them as well.
Charlie,
they're not.
Yo.
Didn't say what you have for sale. Is that
gold.
inside gold?
Yep.
There's somebody in general chat wanting to buy a female.
All right. Thank you.
Hello.
What's up, Scott? We were just taking over.
I did a video on those leafcutter ants in Hollywood.
Oh, did you?
Chris?
Oh, in the Hollywood. Yeah.
In Hollywood, sorry, yeah.
Especially when it's booming.
It's a huge. Those big circular fish tanks. That's where they do their feeding. So they put bramble and stuff in there. Like, oh mate, it must be almost as tall as me. The stems, and they cram tons of it in there. And there's thousands and thousands and thousands of leaf cutters going in and out every second. It's amazing to look at.
So cool. I've seen when zoos do, like on Valentine's Day and stuff, they'll press a load of like hearts out of leaves and stuff like that, and then leave them, and then you've got them going across the road carrying these little hearts or like hashtag symbol and then written the word next to it. There's all sorts of cool stuff you could do with them, but just ultimately they must be amazing. Whenever I go to the zoo, I could watch them for hours. Like leafcutter ants are fascinating. I mean, they're the only other animal on the planet that uses agriculture, apart from us, to produce its own food. They don't eat the leaves. The leaves are to grow fungus on. So they're farming, which is immense.
What I find amazing about ants as well, about farming, is with aphids and ants. So they a lot of ant colonies will protect aphids. In return, the symbiotic relationship is that the ants will tickle them with their antenna, and they'll produce like a sap, like a milk-like sap substance, which is sweet, and they'll bring them back to the colony. So that's pretty cool.
It is.
Just ants do like wild things where you're just like, what? How do inverts like?
No,
Alpha-Ficus, Venators, the jumping ants. They are
really big mandibles.
They are amazing. I've got the gatekeeper ants as well. They haven't made. Well, she hasn't laid majors yet because she's still laying workers. So I got one queen and probably about 12 workers. There's probably about 8 or 9 eggs there as well. They're pretty incredible because when I because they're in Wakushi's plastic setup at the moment. But as they get bigger and start having the majors, I want to move them into like a live planted setup. So then at the entrance to the colony, the gatekeepers will sit there with these big jaws, just sitting there like that, and any predator that comes near, bomb.
That's awesome.
But these aren't venomous. But the honey ants are pretty impressive, especially when they're taking the fluids. And then
see when people feed them like
well.
the blue sugars and stuff like that, and then the honey pot goes blue. It's really cool. I've got some here aboard the show, and I thought the female had died, the queen had died, and I thought I'll leave it on the side just in case. And I see about 20 workers in there the other day, so she's doing well. When I turned her upside down, I could see a nice big brood of eggs. So I'm quite looking forward to getting her into something.
If you go on Antantics and use the discount code Scott's Inverts, that gets you 5%.
Oh, I should remember that.
Should be 20% because he's giving you 20%.
Oh yeah, I wish he was. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, Richard's pretty cool. If you ever at a show and you see Antantics or Wakushi, just go speak to those guys. They're phenomenal, man.
Wakushi,
yeah, I've had a chat with them a few times. They're nice guys.
Sid's unreal, isn't he? Especially with his designs.
Yeah, and their table displays are on point.
Amazing.
Got a better table display than them. They're just
Fantastic.
really well set up and really well thought out.
When I first saw them at the show, I was like, that's just awesome because ants like isopods are something that people don't really think they can keep, but everyone's seen them. But then when they get interested and they see how many different species there are, how interesting they are, it's just awesome.
A lot of people just look at ants and go, "Oh yeah, kids keep them. The last year's end." You know what I mean? The UK ants, and that's it. And it's like, yeah, hold on a minute, you know.
There's a whole world of
you like your spicy spiders? Well, let me show you this spicy ant that will put you on your bum in about 2 seconds.
It's straight up the same. When people ask me what I do for a living now, and I say, "Oh, I'm a commercial woodlice farmer," and they look at me like, "Fuck off, mate! What are you talking about?" And then I show them my Instagram account, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" I'm like, "It's a woodlice." I've never seen one of them in my garden. I'm like, "Well, you won't, mate. It's not from here, is it?" But people are blown away by the sheer variety when you show them. Like, I thought they were all just grey and rolled in a ball. I'm like, well, no, they're not. There's a lot.
When somebody that doesn't keep inverts at all starts chatting to me, obviously I'm like, when's this conversation going to get around to inverts? Because it's boring me at the moment, you know. And when it gets around to inverts, I'm like, thank God for that. Yeah. And when they find out, like, yeah, you keep 250 to 300 spiders, and you got some other bits and bobs, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, hold on a minute. You know, the way I always say it is, you're into your fantasy football, yep, and you're into going to the football games and all the rest of it, and they're like, yeah. I says, well, I've got the same passion for tarantulas as you have for your football. What that means is we all need something in the background, hobby to get us through life.
Yeah.
To help make sense of the world in some way for us, you know.
And I find this as men as well. Like I find like men have to have a hobby. Like we have to have something to anorak on. Like you just got to, and that changes through life a little bit. I mean, imagine a lot of us have kept different things over the years, but you know, we throw all of ourselves into it. When we do a hobby as men, I find like it's just something that we do. I've got ADHD, so I've got a couple of hobbies. I do this, which was my primary hobby, which now it's become my job. I've found that I have to do something else now as a hobby because it's now my job. So I'm doing this all day, every day, and I'm at home. I've had to find something else to do. And as a kid, I used to make miniatures, so I've kind of got back into that a little bit because I need a break.
Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
I make these like fucking cool zombie dioramas because I really like zombies. So I make these.
Have you got any to hand?
No, do you know what? Because I was like, I've just quit my job, and I was like, right, you need to stop playing with toys, you adult, and just put it all away for a little bit. So I've put it all in fucking storage units, so it's not there distracting me just for a month or so, whilst I get my head around.
Yeah, I get that.
This full time, and then I'll get it back out.
Brad, who runs Creatures from the North, and Tim, that works alongside Chris on their stand. they have the Dungeons and the Dragons and all that type of all the figurines.
Oh yeah.
And the painting that they do is like
It's Warhammer 4000.
Warhammer.
And Matt,
So yeah, cheers, Chris.
Tarantula Rookie does it as well.
No,
Yeah, Matt does it. It's how do you hold a brush with one bristle, one strand of hair with paint on, so still you draw a line on a figurine that you're only ever going to see if you look at it really closely, like close up. The patience those guys have got is just
it's
insane.
Just something for me I like to just sit down in the evening. I can switch off then. I can take it in the living room. I can watch telly whilst I'm doing it. And it's just like something to keep my mind active, but without burning out doing this, if you see what I mean. Whereas before, like I wouldn't need another hobby because this was my hobby, but now it consumes my life. I need something else to do to take away from it a little bit. I don't know if you see what I mean. When your hobby becomes a job, you need a new hobby.
Charlotte Smith says, to be fair, I was meant to be working. Charlotte was supposed to be working the other day and spent 5 hours painting one miniature.
Good on her. I bet it looks sick.
See, Chris had a hobby once, didn't you, Chris?
Which one?
He had a couple of spiders. Now he's got 10 billion, and then he discovered roach and Mario worm breeding, mealworm breeding, red runner breeding, and just oh mate, however many roaches you've got in there, times it by about 1,000. That's what Chris is at the moment. Literally.
I'm on 7,000 dubia females alone.
Your house must smell lovely.
Don't smell at all. That's why I said those papers do magic.
They do the job with the flies.
That was the reason, because before that I've never had problems. If you keep them warm, the smell is not there. And I started having smell on that side, and that's where the flies started breeding everywhere. And then I put a heat mat underneath across all of it, so the smell's gone, and those papers catch out the flies. Literally every single bin has flies.
The flies only will lay in like the top 1 centimeter or 2 centimeters of damp substrate. You get them a lot in plants. They're a real common plant pest. When you put a heat mat underneath, you're drying that out. The larvae haven't got anything to live in, and they are what make the smell. So yeah, you literally stopping them. I've had to, in a lot of my open plants, I've obviously got a lot of plants around the house and stuff, is fill the top of the tubs or the top of the plant pots with like stones and gravel, just to stop the flies getting into that top layer and laying.
I'll send you a link for those fly traps that I use. And I'll also send you another one, which is a small one, which you can literally put in a plant pot. And when the flies go to lay the thing, they just get stuck to it.
Yeah, fantastic. Pain in the arse, man.
If anybody's watching, I mean, I've switched over to exactly the same as what Chris is doing, and I've noticed the dubia increase in breeding for sure, for 100%. And I've also used to have flies in with the dubias. There's no flies in there now, nothing. Literally just the dubias running around, shagging each other and having babies, which is fucking brilliant. I've just added another 50 females in. But Chris does a live every Friday from 8 o'clock onwards, which is Chris's Zoo on Wheels. If one of the moderators could drop his link into the chat, that'd be wicked. Give him a follow and a subscription, and on any Friday, ask him what he does with his dubias, because he's not one of these guys that will go, I've got 100 billion dubias, but I'm not going to teach you how to do it. He will tell you. He will tell you how he does it. And trust me, sooner or later, you're going to need his details, because those dubias are going to be hitting the market. And yeah, you're going to be impressed with the prices. Yeah.
This is just 3 of my bins.
Last Friday, and the Friday before, I think he paired up something in like 5 or 6 females.
Every bin has 800 females.
Amazing, isn't it? Excuse me.
And Chris, do you not keep? Do you not use any egg crate or anything like that? Is that just?
No, that's when I clean them. It's
Oh yeah, you just before you pour them back in.
I use chick crumbs as substrate and food. Egg crates on top to keep them warm.
And do you give any? Do you give any supplement veg or fruit or anything like that as well, or just?
Well, once a week I feed veggies. This is pumpkin season, so I'm feeding pumpkins. I do feed apples, melons, squash.
Yeah,
but I avoid any other foods. And the trick is, if you want them to breed massively, once a month, separate out the babies. Keep the babies away in a grow out bin, and you'll see a massive increase in your colonies because the adults eat the babies.
I see.
And if you separate them once a month, you'll see thousands. It's like if you look on the math, because I haven't counted them, but on average, 4 grams of dubia nymphs is 100. It's 100 nymphs. Every month, I get about a kilo of nymphs plus money.
Yeah. That's good. Was that like 100,000?
Yeah. So
yeah.
I round it down. I say about 30,000 maybe nymphs a month.
That's good. That's good production, man. That's very good production.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the price is going to come down soon on Dubai roaches.
This video's out Thursday, but I bought some red runners and some dubias, and the postman handed the box over inside a bin bag because he had a load of red runners come out in his back of his van.
No.
Oh,
Mate, the full story will be on Thursday. Mate, the missus was pissed. To say the wife was pissed was a fucking understatement. Literally. It's the guy that packed them did a really good job, but something happened along the way. If he'd done something differently, it wouldn't have happened. I'm pretty convinced. So I'm going to talk about that on Thursday anyway. But yeah, talk about
lads.
pissed,
My phone battery is just about to die. I think I've got 2%.
No worries. We'll give it another. We're going to end about 10:30 anyway. So
let me just see if
because we can't go on too late tonight because somebody's got a trial day at work tomorrow.
oh.
And the thing is, I had a phone interview and everything, and they said, "Well, come in if you like it. Happy days." And it's for a full-time position, not part-time as well. So
Nice.
that, with it being full-time and the job it is, if it all works out well, I should be mentally a lot happier than what I currently am. Put it that way. Yeah. So fingers crossed, it all works tomorrow.
What's it doing, Scott? Sorry.
Delivering car parts.
Oh, shit, man.
So driving around, delivering like car parts to garages and stuff like that, and no doubt to Chris in a couple of months as well. But yeah, basically doing that. But what that does for me, because of the depression and the BPD and stuff like that I've got going on, the BPD hasn't really affected me for about 5 years. The last month it's come back in force, so I've been knocked off my feet a little bit. But it basically there was a series of events that led up to it. So I am completely fine, everybody. I've also don't need messages or anything like that. It's just something that I need to deal with because there's nothing to talk about, if that makes sense. But what this job will enable me to do is drive from one place to another on my own with my own music player and all the rest of it, doing something that I absolutely love, which is driving. And it's just around Coventry in the local area. So fingers crossed it works out. But with it being full time, it's just going to be very, very financially a lot better, as well as pretty good for myself mentally as well. So fingers crossed it goes well tomorrow.
I hope it goes well for you.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Do you live in Coventry, do you, Scott?
I do, yeah.
Do you remember a shop down in near the train station down the bottom called Realm of Reptiles, which became Creatures of Coventry?
I've been in Coventry 10 years. I've heard about that, but I never actually visited it.
I worked there. Was a store manager there for 4.5 years.
Damn, I don't know that.
No.
Yeah, in
Wow.
Coventry. Yeah, long time ago. But yeah, obviously when it was open, it was originally Realm of Reptiles. I just moved to Birmingham with my partner. I got the job there, and I worked there. Yeah, 4.5 years. I just wondered if we'd ever met prior in that shop, because I doubt you'd have had such a glorious beard that long ago.
I would have had long blonde hair, no beard, and not into inverts or anything like that.
Oh, he was a four. We sold everything. Yeah, we had all sorts in there at the time.
I fell into the world of inverts and reptiles and stuff purely by accident. It was a bit of a crazy one. So I was always into things like David Attenborough and documentaries and seeing wildlife on the telly, supporting all that. We used to go to Glastonbury, and we did some. Back when I was veggie, we did some activist stuff as well, which I ain't going to go into because it'll imply me into criminality. And then as I got older, I discovered the world of drugs quite late, actually. I got into drugs and stuff like that. Come back out of it, split up with my girlfriend, got with somebody that was doing drugs, started doing drugs again, and then got back out of them, and then hit them big time. I mean, just about anything I could get my hands on. But got to a point where I was homeless as well. Got into a hostel, got my own little place, and I thought, right, this is it. I'm gonna get 3 months here, then I'm gonna rattle my tits off and just get off it. So that's what I did. I bought my dog. And she really did get me through the 2 weeks it was. People tell you it's a week rattle. That's absolute fucking bullshit. I was rattling off prescription and bought stuff for 2 weeks. Hands, even at the end of the 2 weeks, my hands were still sweating buckets. Even if I was cold, it was still like somebody put a tap over my hands. They were that wet. But I knew a lad, and he was a lot younger than me, with my mate's cousin. He's moved right up north somewhere now, and he got thrown out of home, and he had 2 spiders. So we had a Lazadora parabama and an Aphropalma. Chris is going to take the piss now, and so is Charlie. Shakalades. So he literally said that on my drive, because my parents want them out, it's going to rain. If you don't come and get them, they're going to die. So I got a lift from best mate up to his house, picked him up, took him back to the flat, and I said, look, I'll look after him until you get somewhere. And he basically just gave them to me. And the LP was in an enclosure like this. So a big tall one. And it had like about this much substrate. And I looked at it and I thought, that can't be right. So I went on Google, discovered other people on Facebook that keep spiders, started chatting to actually with Steve Thornton was the first person that I actually spoke to online about spiders. And we got chatting and all the rest of it. And then I found a company called Creatures from the North and bought some mystery boxes. Then I met the wife, and she was literally like, yeah, you can't. We need to stop at these spiders at about 12. And I had 12. And do you know KBN Reptile was in Coventry?
Yeah.
Going in there, and of course they were just igniting the actual passion for these little dudes even more, just like their excitement when they were getting out, even an OBT going, oh, this is an orange mad bastard, really passionate guys, and it just ignited my love for these little dudes. And what they do for me now is just absolute, it amazes me every day, because
I was bit by an OBT when I was 15, and I'm 35 next month, so nearly 20 years ago.
You're not fucking 35.
Yeah, next month. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, everyone thinks I'm like fucking 16, 17. No, like I'm 35.
I thought you were about 22. 35. Bollocks.
Hold on, how old is he?
35.
That's the problem. A lot of people
Fuck
think
off.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I've been doing this since I was a fucking child. I've worked in reptile shops, I've worked in zoos, I've worked in, I've always worked or kept animals since I was a kid. I've always kept animals. Because I can't grow a glorious beard like you motherfuckers, people think that I'm like 22. I'm actually 35. I got ID the other day Pack of filters. That's fucking hell, man. I'm 35.
Oh fuck! I'm
started
44. I
smoking
wish they'd fucking ID me for something.
yeah. Yeah, I got bit by an OBT. I was working in a reptile shop after school. Every night after school, used to go in and feed all the spiders. Yeah, got bit by an OBT, big one as well, decent size, on my little finger, and it was hands down some of the worst pain I've ever been in my life. And it wasn't the bite; it was the cramps the following day.
I'm on my
it was
phone,
cramps
Anton.
in both legs, man. My dad had to take me to the hospital and everything. It was so bad.
Wow.
But it taught me a very healthy respect for spiders from quite a young age.
Because of my mindset, I've always struggled with like family. I've only ever had one real close friend for a long time, but now spiders enables me to be completely okay with having a family. I know it sounds really strange to some people, but my mind works differently to the majority of people out there. Please bear that in mind. So the spiders enable me to actually see the family and do everything that's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As well as normal life, and then hold some. When I say I'm blessed with friends, I am blessed with some fucking just ridiculously amazing people. Look, these two down the stairs. Do you know what I mean? Some of the best people on the planet, like especially this fucking Latvian dickhead.
First time I've met Chris this evening, he seems like a lovely gentleman.
Adam, he will take the piss.
Be a bit of a cunt, from what I've heard.
No, Chris will take the piss and have a laugh, but his heart is bigger than the community is put together. He's got one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen in my life. But
You're blushing, Chris. Careful.
But if you chat shit about one of his friends, he'll say. And if he sees something wrong, he'll say. And don't ever think you don't kick my ass when I'm thinking. I can't say that because he fucking does. Yeah, he does. He does help to keep me on toe. Leah's in chat as well. Love her to bits, obviously. But yeah, Chris will literally say,
Scott,
"You've got to do this," and I'm like, "Shit, yeah, I have really, haven't I?"
Scott, over your right shoulder, is that a box of sand? Is that a sand spider in there? That one, yeah.
No, that's where he does his shit.
Is it? Oh, okay, that's cool, man.
Yeah. The
Oh, I want to hear you pronounce this one.
hexapalma.
Oh, okay.
It's hexapalma, not the Sicarius. I've got the Sicarius as well as.
Okay.
But my God, if you buy a sand spider as a baby, don't expect to see it growing for God knows how long.
Oh, really?
They eat maybe twice a fucking year, molt maybe twice a fucking year.
Jeez, yeah. That's why I don't keep a Funapalma. Cow Cody's.
It doesn't matter how you pronounce it, as long as the person knows what you're talking about.
Shackle days.
Millennium.
Millennium.
There's not even a no.
Oh no, yeah.
The O just appears.
You've even taught me how to say it, and I still go to say it, and it goes Millennium. And as I'm saying it, I'm thinking, dickhead.
I bet you think of me when you say it now.
Every fucking time. Every time.
Maronella. I believe that's how you say it.
I can't say video without thinking of Chris, because he said video, and that goes through the back of my mind.
Fuck off.
Right, I still have some rehousings to do, and I haven't eaten dinner, so I have to dip out. Yes, I do.
Charlie, just while everybody's watching as well, I take it that those spiders that you've bought and that they've come in are not in your main room because you're quarantining?
They're here.
That's right.
Take it they've got their own colony of dubias, they've got their own tongs, catch cups, spray bottles, and all the rest of it.
Well, not that severe, but yes. Not that severe. So, basically, when I went to his house, I brought latex gloves and a straw.
Vaseline.
So he probably, obviously there's that as well. So basically, I pinch grabbed most of them. Honestly, as brutal as it is, I pinch grabbed most of them. The guy was pretty shocked when I pulled out some black latex gloves and a straw. He probably thought, "What the fuck?"
He thought he was in for a treat.
Yeah. But as brutal as it is, when someone's selling their whole collection, I do need to check. And honestly, these spiders are in a terrible condition. Some of them I'm probably going to lose, honestly. I sent Chris a video of a pokey today, a PMET, and it's in a terrible state. However, what I did was I pinch grabbed it, and its like bum was very dry. And so I moistened that. I've tried to hydrate it. I'm going to crush a worm tonight and see if it eats. But it wasn't a death curl when I got to his house. And now it's actually on the side of the cork. Still in a little bit of a death curl, but it's more open now. So hopefully that's okay. And I'm going to try my very best with all of these animals. And if I bring them back from the cusp of death, I'm going to be over the moon, I tell you that. So yeah, we'll see. But he hasn't brought any animals into his collection for a long while, and all the animals he has had have been with him for a long while. So I'm not too worried about nematodes. And having checked them all by pinch grabbing and checking their fangs and all of that, I'm not too worried about nematodes. But a lot of them are sick animals. Yeah, well, Sarah, you can say I am kind. And of course, I paid a lot of money for these animals. And to be honest with you, after I got home and realized how sick these animals were, obviously when I'm in someone's house checking over them all and making sure they're all alive and well, to be honest, after I brought them home, I realized how much I overpaid for all of them. If they were all in a good condition, it would have been a great deal. But I've literally, since 10 a.m., I've literally been doing nothing else but making new spider enclosures, trying to look over them all.
Did you get some pumpkin?
Pumpkin?
Yeah.
As in pumpkin patch? Or...
No, just pumpkin for the roaches.
Oh, no, I have buttersquash.
Oh.
Yeah.
What I might have to do is grab you at one of the shows and try and learn this pinch grabbing, because I've always stayed away from it, because everybody I listen to a lot to other people instead of thinking about like what you're doing, the actual health of the animal. And if you think about it, those guys that do pinch grabbing are mainly the Polish. So that's like Rad, Christoph, Emil. And the statement I'll follow that up with is how many times you go to their table and see a dehydrated spider or an ill spider or one that doesn't look at its best. And the answer is never, because all the spiders always look perfect. And that could be why, because they're literally just going, check your spider. This is how you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course it can look brutal at times. And I would never check any of my animals because I know they're healthy animals. But well, yeah, exactly. Anton said Dave's Little Beasties does a pinch grabbing on the forward fly video, and he shows it with a sponge. Today, I was for some of the more wily spiders, I was using a bit of like bundled up tissue and gently pushing it down to get a good pinch on it. But I've also necked a lot of venomous snakes, which I don't recommend. But that's far more risky than pinch grabbing a spider. Far more risky. So that confidence obviously helps with it.
The way I look at it is like this: when COVID was massive, and I came down with it, the wife came down with it, all the kids came down with it. Noah had to get tested, and that's just the way it was. Then we had to test them to see if they got it or not. So the way I did that was something that the wife couldn't do. I basically pinned him down as he's kicking off, screaming, and all the rest of it. And then just put the cotton ball thing up his nose and did the test. But if I can do that to a child, for his safety, surely pinch grabbing a tarantula for the tarantula's safety is completely fucking fine.
Yeah,
I think pinch grabbing for the sake of it, just to go, oh look how hard I am. Yeah, fuck off. But
no, that's bullshit.
If you're
totally agree.
Yeah, and handling just to get 1,000 fucking views. Fuck off as well. That pisses me off.
Subs. Yeah.
Oh mate, that guy's an absolute fucking dick. But more so after that. But actually pinch grabbing for a health reason, I think justifies itself.
Yeah.
And let me just say that again: pinch grabbing for health reasons only, not to pick it up and go, look how fucking hard I am. I can pick up an OBT like this. Do you know what I mean? No, that's all. Well, that's utter shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I won't get into that, but yeah, today, unfortunately, even the healthy animals that were in his collection, which seem to be mostly the baboons, the balfours, all of them,
The dry species.
the dry species, of course. I've had to actually, thankfully, with the Ceratogyros, they were on the side, so I could sort of give them a good examine without pinch grabbing them. So I didn't need to. But with a lot of the other ones, even the ones I would much rather pinch grab a pokey than a brachypelma. It sounds stupid, but I'm confident with my pinch grabbing, and I don't want to get haired, so I don't keep new worlds really. So provided all these animals are okay, they'll be moving on to new homes. But I don't want to. Chris just said there's someone looking for a Neapolitan gold, and I have that now from this collection. But I also told her, and she'll say that I just said I won't be selling you this animal for 1 to 2 weeks, not because I'm worried about Floridae flies or nematodes, because I'm not worried about that because I've checked them all and it doesn't seem to have signs of that. But I am worried about that overall health of the animal. So until I'm confident with that, I won't be sending any of them out.
Adam, where you gone?
I'm still here.
Just,
I'm still here.
No.
just to show you one of them.
Just looking through all the orders that have been placed since we've been doing the stream.
You're gonna be broke soon.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a good evening. Worth putting it out there for everybody this evening.
Just to show you one of the conditions that they're in. This is H. gigas, and you can see that this has clearly not been taken care of or maintained at all. These mushroom spores or mold are not going to harm the animal particularly, but it's the stagnant air and the stagnant substrate that will harm the animal. So clearly this guy is given no shits. The animal actually is pretty healthy. There it is. There's a molt in there as well. Yeah, it's actually very healthy and looks incredible. But fortunately, a lot of these baboon species are very hardy. The brachypelmas and the other stuff will be a lot more susceptible to humid, stagnant environments, whereas H. gigas and some baboons that are kept, well, H. gigas kept quite moist, but they'll be a little bit more hardy and susceptible to these things. So, yeah.
Adam, what tarantulas you keep?
So again, mate.
Charlie, I think if
I think
if me and Chris
mainly my sort of my thing. I've got Purpurea, Rufilata, Versicolor, a few other bits and pieces. Diversipes, I know they're not avicular anymore, are they? They're Eupenorate. How'd you say it, Charlie?
Wyabora.
Wyabora.
Something like that.
Yeah, so I've a few bits like that, and then I've got slings and stuff. Got a sale on the website, but yeah, I've always liked Avix. I've bred Avix the first time when I was working in Coventry shop, and I had them on the desk, and I left the sack in with a female. I remember coming into work one morning to check the emails, and the desk was out the back, and this little blue thing just ran across my keyboard. I was like, what the fuck is that? And I looked across, and just the whole front of the tank was covered in versicolors, and I was just like, hey, it's the first one I've ever bred. And they were all over
is your white Diversipes a female, adult female?
She's sub-adult. It's probably not even sub-adult, about half grown.
Yeah.
Got 2 months left.
Juvenile, maybe.
Yeah. I've got a sub-adult male, you see.
Oh, have you? Yeah, she's probably 2 months off mature. I have got Purpurea I've been looking for a male for, which I think is probably 1 month off of adult.
Avicularia. Is that Peru purple?
No.
Purpurea, yeah.
Purpurea, Purpurea, yeah, I got you.
Peru purple, unfortunately, I had to send back to Bugnut. I did buy Adam one, but
yeah, because I've not been able to make the shows recently. I've just been giving Charlie money, and he goes around and has a look for me. He's my personal shopper. It's great.
He's good lad, is Charlie.
He's a very good lad, is Charlie. And do you know what I'm going to say it on here? Charlie was actually one of my customers. I didn't know the guy at all, and he started buying from me, and we got chatting. I did him a few sort of better deals because he was buying quite a bit. And he asked me one day what my favourite spider was. I didn't have any spiders at the time. And he bought me a versicolor from the show and just sent it to me. He didn't ask me or anything. He just bought it for me as a gift. And I thought
that's for your birthday, huh?
That's a really nice thing to do because we've never met. I don't really know you. And then he asked if I was coming to do one of the shows. He said, "Oh, come and help on the table if you want." And I won't ask any money. And he came all the way up on his Harley, worked on the show on the table for completely free. Of course, I didn't see him walk away without any money, but that was it. I thought, oh, he's a nice lad. Like, he's come all the way up. He's helping me for nothing just because he's got a passion for the hobby. And now he's got a t-shirt now and he's part of the crew basically. So he's a good lad. I've got a lot of time.
He is a good lad. He started off as a subscriber and now he's a personal friend.
Yeah.
The same as Chris. I met Leah on Facebook. I think prior YouTube as it goes. Prior to YouTube, but it's fucking. It's gems like these two and the fair few in the comments as well that make the hobby extra special, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely a few names in the comments there for sure. That everybody's. I always find when you go to school, you're stuck in a classroom with 28 other kids, 30 other kids, and nobody likes the same fucking thing. You're there because you've got to be. When you grow up, you want to get in the room with the 30 people that like the same thing. You'll all fucking get on.
I was the only kid in my class that liked fucking metal. Literally, I like metal and folk music, like Levelers and stuff, and nobody else at all. And then non-uniform day, I was the only one in my fucking black combats with my Doc Martens, my fucking Nirvana top or whatever. Everybody else had the shell suits and all that crap on. So yeah, school for me was very much like very lone time. But like you said, once you find another group of weirdos that like the same things you do, you're off, ain't you?
I left school at 16. As soon as the day I could leave school, I left. I didn't do sixth form. I went to a college 35 miles away, and I did animal management. And I met people that were
I didn't know that. I did literally the same thing.
I mean, I got nowhere with that qualification.
Yeah, me as well.
I met some really nice people.
I spent 2.5 hours a day traveling because it was the only place that did animal management.
Where did you go?
I went to Guildford, Mareswood.
I went to Hadlow, which I believe now has the National Reptile Centre there, which we'd really like to go back and visit.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it looks like a really impressive facility. The National
Chris commented on a live once, and I commented back like on a Tuesday live, and then the following week he was there again. And we were just having like a little bit of a chat, and then a show got mentioned, and I said I can't get to it. Chris went, "Where were you in Coventry?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll come and pick you up." Like that, nothing else. Just I'll come and get you. We've never met in life. He'd been not on a live like this. He was literally just purely in the comments. Crazy, isn't it?
That's how I actually met Alicia's arthropods on Instagram as well. I rode before I had my Harley, I had a 125 Shadow, and I rode my 125 Honda Shadow from Surrey to Reading. And then from Reading, she took me down the motorway to the show.
And obviously, Mark, who's in the comments, gives us a lift to all the shows now because Chris has progressed onto Creatures from the North stand, so he gets all the hotels and all the rest of it. Mark, again, I met through the hobby. It's you meet normal people, right? You meet normal people, and I don't give a fuck. Normal people aren't nowhere near as caring, thoughtful, or passionate about anything than like everybody you meet in this hobby. In this hobby, it's literally weirdos unite and we're away.
Yeah.
You know, nobody gives a shit whatever anybody else is doing or anything like that. You're in the spiders, therefore you're part of us. End of story.
What people don't realise, I don't think, is how large of a community it is. Yeah, everybody keeps different stuff and has different interests, but it's a very large community, and your reputation goes a really long way. Like, often people will have heard of you long before you've ever even, met them or anything like that. And your reputation carries you big. And I've always stood by that. Like, you should look after your reputation. I think, especially if you're running a business in this industry, it's really important.
Yeah.
I missed something there, haven't
Yeah.
Anton's up in Scotland, right? And he's like the naughty kid. We all love him to bits, though. And he literally says, "Well, here's one for you. I met Chris at a show for 20 minutes. Then he came to mine and got him upstairs in the bedroom."
And I was
story.
holding his snake.
Are you that easy, Chris?
What?
Are you that
Yes.
easy? I'm
Yeah.
hosting a show in Cornwall next year. If you're interested.
Adam, Anton's another lad with ADHD, but he breeds GTPs, the green tree pythons. But he's in Scotland, so if you bought one off him, he would drive it to you. Before he took your money, he would want to see your setup, and he'll give you like an information pack and all the rest of it. 6 months down the line, he'll still be dropping you a message to see how the snake's getting on.
That's a good breeder.
That's some passion, and his snakes are, as Chris will say. Chris is lucky enough to see him like personally.
Yes.
They are stunning.
They are stunning. Next level. Oh. I'm getting
Ling did. Ling's literally skipped down one of the holes and shouted "Scott," and that was that. And then this is something that I thought was just amazing. On a giveaway, Chris donated a shit ton of dubias, and Ling won. That's how they got talking, and now they're the closest of close.
Oh, that's so funny.
It's just amazing how things work out. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. On that note as well, when was it? Bristol show that Ling was last at? I think she was at Bristol show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bristol show. I said, "You're right, Ling." Like that was it. That was all I said to her. And after Bristol, I think I probably spoke to Ling more than I spoke to anyone. Just like anyone in real life, like, literally. Like we literally spoke. I think me and Ling speak every day now. It's mental.
The problem with Ling is if you're gonna make a Ling phone call, you need to make sure that you've got nothing to do for 3 hours.
So,
the same with the Leah phone call as well. If you're going to speak to me, you got to make sure you got nothing there.
Mystery box of nudes. Wow.
Right, Scott, we need to finish at 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. I need to hit the sack ready for tomorrow.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chris.
I've got to catch up on quickly here.
For everybody that's been here since the start, thank you guys so much. Chris, Charlie, really, really, really appreciate your guys supporting these lives, especially recently. Kind of helped to make sure they actually appear on a Tuesday without you guys actually doing anything, which I really, really appreciate. Adam, thank you for your time. Thank you for popping on. And massive thank you for 20% discount on your website, which is Scott's Inverts, if anybody still wants to pop over and go make another order.
It's going till midnight. No, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it. It's been a good laugh this evening. Good crack.
I think the information and what you were showing tonight is like hopefully made a huge difference to some people that were kind of thinking, do I with isopods? Don't I with isopods? They look really complicated to keep. And I think you've just made everybody at ease and thinking, actually,
the only
yeah,
thing I always say
they're
to anyone
straightforward.
is a parting piece of advice I will give to anyone who wants to keep isopods and there's a lot of people now want to become isopod breeders and make some money out of it. Go for it. But make sure you have got a fucking steady supply of leaves, even in the summer. That is the only thing I will say is make sure you've got enough leaf litter to last you all year. Yeah. That is the one piece of advice I give anyone to take away. When you've got a large colony, it's great October, November, December, January, February. But when you get to July, August, and all the brambles have grown over the leaves, everything's rotten down, and you're desperate for them, it's hard to find them, and you end up having to buy a lot. So make sure you stockpile for later in the year. That's my parting piece of advice.
Good night, Sarah.
Anton says, Michael, like, can I send you a video of my setups? Says Anton. He wants to show you his snakes off.
He might mean his isopods.
Or his isopods, sorry.
Sorry, I missed that.
Anton said, can I PM you a video of my setups? I'm not sure if he means isopods or snakes, but either way.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Just drop me a message. Instagram, Facebook, email.
Cheers, Drugs.
better to get hold of me, if I'm honest.
Right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. Good night. Scott,
Peace
are you
out,
lads.
pressing the
everyone.
button or you want me to press the button?
Yeah,
go
go
on.
on then. Night, everybody. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for
Bye
coming.
then.
Night.
Obviously,
Oh, yeah.
channel members, you guys absolutely smash it. And the guys that donated, thank you again for supporting the channel so much.
And Scott's a fucking wanker.
Yeah, night, Tony. Cheers, but